Hi und herzlich willkommen zu diesem Livestream hier auf MRTV. Mein Name ist Marco Budde und heute werden wir hoffentlich mehr zu PIMAX 12K QLED erfahren. Und zwar von Kevin Henderson und Sebastian Ang, die ein Live-Interview auf dem englischen MRTV-Kanal führen werden. Ich werde das Ganze hier für euch live kommentieren und übersetzen. Und ich freue mich sehr, dass ihr schon so zahlreich da seid, denn es geht jetzt gleich auch schon los.
On MRTV, and I'm glad to say hello to Kevin Henderson, the COO of PIMAX. How are you doing, Kevin?
It's good to see you again. I'm happy to be here.
Right. Yeah, we were supposed to meet in Las Vegas at CES, but it didn't
Yeah.
happen. So I'm glad that we're having now this event to make up for it, right?
Yeah,
so-
and talk about these things, show some things. We got a lot to hit on, I guess. today.
Yeah, wow. We have
Gonna
so
be
many
exciting.
things. We have so many things to talk about. It's going to be a really exciting show. So, what is this show all about? Well, as the title of this live stream says it all, it is the PIMAX 12K QLED unveiling.
Ja, erstmal einfach nur natürlich eine kleine Einleitung hier, ja. Also die beiden wollten sich eigentlich auf der CES in Las Vegas treffen, hat nicht geklappt. Natürlich nicht, leider nicht. Ja, aber heute, nach fast einem halben Jahr, werden wir hier wahrscheinlich die 12K QLED sehen. Und wenn ihr ein bisschen genauer hinschaut, seht ihr unten rechts auch schon das Gerät. Also wir werden es gleich wahrscheinlich das erste Mal in live sehen.
Anything where the community has actually asked so many questions already. And well, I am representing the VR community and I'm going to grill you, Kevin. There will be no holding back. Are you ready for that?
Well, I hope so. I'll do my best.
All right. Really cool that, actually you agreed to make this happen, right? You could have done this on your own, on the PIMAX channel, but you came here on the channel and, you know that I'm asking the hard questions
like
without
we-
holding back. So props for that
Yeah.
and really my respect.
Genau,
for
sie
that.
hätten natürlich das Ganze auf ihren eigenen Channel machen können. Und ja, Sebastian bedankt sich natürlich, dass es auf MRTV stattfindet, weil hier wird es natürlich hoffentlich auch ein paar unangenehme Fragen geben. Mal gucken, ob er direkt darauf antwortet oder nicht.
Wanting to find out more about the device. And that is what
I think a critical thought process is a good thing, and you bring that to the table, and it's good.
exactly. So I'm glad that you agreed to make this happen, especially since the CES event did not happen and lots of questions would have been asked.
Ja,
there.
mal schauen, ob
So,
er die
yeah,
kritischen
we're going
Fragen
to
tatsächlich
do
gut
it
findet,
now.
die er hier als sehr produktiv bewertet. Ja, hoffentlich werden sie auch gestellt. Und natürlich haben wir eure Fragen gesammelt und das sind wirklich einige. Also ich bin sehr gespannt jetzt auf die Infos und vielleicht werden wir auch mal was ganz Neues erfahren. Vielleicht hat er noch eine Überraschung für uns. Das wäre natürlich auch richtig cool. Weil am Ende haben wir das Gerät selber natürlich immer noch nicht persönlich in der Hand gehabt. Und das ist natürlich schade.
People out there who are watching this by mistake and who are wondering, hey, what is this 12K QLED? What is this all about? Probably we can first talk a bit about it. So let me kind of summarize it a bit, and if you can always jump
Sure.
in if you think I misunderstood something or whatever. So in October last year, I believe it was, there was an event, the
Right.
PIMAX Frontier event. And in that
Correct.
event, it was a live stream on the PIMAX channel. You introduced the PIMAX 12K QLED, which is your new flagship headset of a complete new
Exactly.
platform of VR headsets that you are going to launch in the future. And this platform is called the Reality Series.
Genau, die vergangene
So
Serie
far,
hieß nämlich
so
PIMAX
correct,
Vision, jetzt
Right.
VR 3.0
And-
laut PIMAX, ist
So
die
far, so
PIMAX
good.
Reality
So far, so good.
Series.
And
Und das hört
I
sich eben
must
auch danach
tell
an, als
you,
ob es mehrere
when
Geräte
I
geben
was
wird. Die
watching
12K
that
QLED soll
stream,
eben nur das
I
Flaggschiff
was
sein.
like all of the VR community, we were flabbergasted. Is that the correct English term?
Sure.
Like we were like, wow,
I hope the show came off great. The quality of it was our best quality show.
absolutely. That was absolutely the best kind of show that I've ever seen from PIMAX. So the production values, everything really nice.
Yep.
And in that show, you you promised us the world. I must say it like this. It really felt like, are you kidding me? This
Ja,
PIMAX
allerdings,
12K
genau. In diesem PIMAX Frontier Event im
device,
Oktober, der auch irgendwie 4 Stunden später anfing erst leider, da haben sie uns alles versprochen, ja. Es hat einfach zu gut geklungen und bis heute können wir nicht glauben, dass so ein Headset rauskommt. Ja, mal gucken, was er jetzt dazu sagt.
I must honestly say it like this. So this device, it just seemed to be everyone's dream, every VR enthusiast's dream. So it has no compromises, basically, right? It's like the perfect headset. So it is. People PIMAXians, right? PIMAXians and PIMAXians, yeah, not Martians. PIMAXians.
Yeah.
They don't take compromises. They don't need compromises because they get the very, very best.
Ja, tatsächlich macht Sebastian sich gerade ein bisschen darüber lustig. Also die PIMAXians, genau, die haben das Beste verdient. Ja, mal gucken, wie er jetzt drauf reagiert. Fängt schon gut an.
With an XR2 chipset, just like the Quest 2. But if you don't want the standalone mode, you can connect it to your computer, and then it's a PCVR headset. But you don't only need it like with a wire, you can also have it wireless with Wigig. Right? So
gestern haben wir auf New VR übrigens auch mit Sebastian zusammen darüber gesprochen, was die PIMAX 12K eigentlich nochmal ist. Das ist ja schon so lange her. Und die soll ja alles können eben, ja. Standalone-Gerät, Wireless-Gerät und auch natives PC-VR-Headset mit massig an Modulen, 5G-Modul, Lighthouse, Inside-Out-Tracking. Alles soll da sein.
What you said in that event, no distortions at all anymore. This is like the dream come true. This is what I want, right? This is what you said in the. Okay, cool. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a moment. Then
I'll talk about those things for sure.
Yeah, of course. Then the lenses, Fresnel lenses, aspheric lenses. No, we don't want this. You get the best of both worlds. You get the new lens type, which is you think you call them bionic lenses or. Anyways, it's a combination. It's a combination of a spheric lens in the middle, and then like Fresnel lens
and a Fresnel
Fresnel, at the peripheral area. So you should get the best of both worlds. Then, in terms of resolution. Man,
genau, die Brille soll keine Fresnel-Linsen, keine asphärischen Linsen haben, sondern eben beides kombiniert. Bionic-Linsen nennen sie das. Bionic ist ja immer etwas, was sich aus 2 Dingen zusammensetzt. So hat man es oft schon gehört, diesen Begriff. Und ja, tatsächlich soll eben das Headset ja nur die Vorteile eben beider Linsen haben und weniger die Nachteile. Und natürlich auch 6K Auflösung pro Auge. Was soll man das heißt? Bei 200 Hertz Bildwiederholfrequenz. Wir haben gestern schon nochmal sehr kritisch darüber geredet. Das ist gar nicht, was die Datenverbindung angeht, gar nicht möglich. Mal davon abgesehen, dass es gar nicht berechnet werden kann. Also, ja. Wir sind wirklich gespannt, was er eben auf eure und unsere Fragen antworten wird, weil genau diese Fragen stellen wir ihm natürlich.
It's got Wi-Fi 6 integrated, which is another thing, and it's got a QLED panel, which is new.
Er sagt Wi-Fi 6 integrated, eigentlich Wi-Fi 6E, das ist ein deutlicher Unterschied, denn Wi-Fi 6E ist im 6 GHz Band eben vertreten und Wi-Fi 6 nur im 5 GHz, wie auch Wi-Fi 5.
Audio processing on board, which is real cool.
Exactly. So
3 USBs that are powered.
Right.
3 microphones.
Exactly.
3 different pickups, which are pretty cool. And face tracking, eye tracking.
Face tracking, eye tracking.
Das Face-Tracking ist aber optional. Also auch das erwähnt er jetzt nicht separat, dass es optional ist.
Like different kinds of modules. And
that one I haven't seen the body tracking one.
Okay. Yeah, anyways, so we're still in this kind of introduction phase. So you promised.
Okay, er hat das Body-Tracking-Modul noch gar nicht gesehen, es existiert also überhaupt nicht. Das heißt also, wir können schon davon ausgehen, dass einiges davon, was gezeigt wurde, gar nicht existiert. Das ist natürlich schon eine Ansage jetzt. Oh Mann.
Everything. Anyways, now we simply want to find out about the headset. So show it to us. Show it to the world.
And the new tracking technology is another thing,
exactly. New tracking. It's not about
base stations.
Right. Base stations, inside-out tracking. You have your own controllers.
Oh, we have the new joystick controller.
You have the new joystick controllers. Exactly. It's like inside-out tracking. So
Ja, die
all these
Controller haben
kinds
wir
of
noch
things,
gar
like
nicht im
just
Detail
like
gesehen.
after
Auch da haben wir heute Fragen
presentation, we
vorbereitet.
just thought like,
Denn die
wow, it's like, wow,
Controller
so much promise.
sind oder sehen
It
aus wie die Oculus
honestly
Touch
felt
Controller.
like, yeah, like over promising. And I was wondering, don't you set up
They held
yourself
back.
for don't you set up yourself for like disappointment? Don't you set the community up for disappointment with with these huge promises?
Der fragt jetzt eben, ob man eben dadurch, dass man so viele Versprechen macht, nicht die Leute schon eigentlich denen garantiert, dass man sie enttäuscht, weil man sie nicht einhalten kann.
Wow, that is interesting. So even that we felt it was over the top. You even like didn't put everything into that.
Aha.
Also
sie hätten noch mehr reinpacken können, sagen sie. Es ist gar nicht so viel.
We wanted to keep it into like almost exactly an hour. So, and we wanted to talk about how it would be used in the metaverse and the new software platform.
Okay, heißt das jetzt, wir kennen noch nicht alle Details. Wir wollten den Stream nicht so lang machen, sagt er jetzt gerade.
Okay.
So,
all right.
We didn't get into everything.
Okay,
and some of it we just simply saved to reveal later. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Right.
Also es wird heute noch Überraschungen geben, Informationen, die wir noch gar nicht kennen.
What's cool is when you get to see and test these things.
Right.
What's fun is
ja, Andreas, du schreibst gerade, er wird sich finden wie ein Aal, die kritischen Fragen wird er geschickt umgehen. Definitiv wird er das, aber so kriegen wir ein Gefühl davon, wie PIMAX eben gerade ist, ja, wie der Stand ist, wie weit sie sind. Ja, und dann wissen wir alle, ob wir uns darauf freuen können oder nicht.
That's been more true with the 12K than any other headset, because it has a lot of really new things, and
right.
It's quite impressive, with the new lenses had in a long time.
Right.
And,
we're going to get into all of this. We're going to get into all of this. So
yeah, so where do you want to start?
Yeah, right. With this little introduction, I just wanted to say, obviously, I'm a VR enthusiast, and as a VR enthusiast, I am excited, but I also want to say, on the other hand, there is this skepticism, because before in the PIMAX history, there have been this kind of lofty promises, and then PIMAX didn't deliver or delivered like way too late. So with this intro, I just wanted to, let you and let the community know that, well,
also Schuhe ist das bestimmt nicht, dass das ein Unternehmen so viele Enttäuschungen auch geboten hat. Aber ja, er streitet sie nicht ab. Fair enough, würde man jetzt sagen.
This is not any kind of advertisement event for the PIMAX 12K QLED. This is really for the community to ask questions. And that's what I'm going to do.
Record, we didn't prepare for this at all. This is all completely I don't have any question. Nobody sent me.
Hat er recht? Hat er wirklich nicht? Wir dachten sogar bis vorhin, er kommt gar nicht. Er hat nämlich nicht geantwortet. Dann hat Sebastian aber angerufen und er sagt, ja klar, komme ich. Also ja. Jetzt geht's los mit der ersten Frage. Okay, er soll uns das Headset zeigen. Da ist es.
I've got this little new gizmo here. I want to try to use this thing.
Jetzt wird er seine Kamera ein bisschen steuern. Ja, sehr cool. Links sehen wir die 8KX und rechts sehen wir die 12K QLED.
12K.
Und zwar sieht man da schön erstmal ein ruckelndes Bild.
Cool. So
und
it is
Lüfter
real.
haben wir schon mal vorne. Wir sehen Lüfterauslässe.
Here it is. First time in history, a real 12K QLED. Physical
new
reveal.
Speakers. You can see the battery.
Okay. Can you show a bit closer probably the lenses, because this is the first time that we see the lenses, and let me probably wait a moment, let me show it a bit bigger for.
Er hatte Sebastian jetzt gebeten, dass er es einmal größer macht, damit wir es besser sehen können.
Okay.
Jo. Oh, da sehen wir die typischen PIMAX Linsen.
Oh wow, okay.
Ja, die
sehen
so aus wie PIMAX Linsen.
We're excited about the lenses.
Definitiv. Sehen sie aus wie auch ähnlich wie bei der
I will, but on the pictures, I think you cannot really see the lenses so well.
Right.
Can you do it again?
Er will irgendwie nicht aufstehen oder so. Ja. Ja,
okay.
nee.
So these are the new bionic lenses?
Yes.
Okay.
This is you know how we would used to number the lens. I don't know if you remember, it's back in the day, but when you were a tester for the lenses a long time ago, went through the various iterations. This one is an earlier iteration of the lenses than the one that like Martin is testing. So this
Okay,
is
hier
like
sehen wir jetzt.
M6 or 7, and he's like 8 or 9, I think.
Okay, hier sehen wir Vorserien Linsen
But yeah, rating
6
the
oder
lenses
7 Version.
and
Es gibt aber schon neuere. Er hat scheinbar nicht die neueste hier. Was auch immer das heißt, wir konnten sie ja gar nicht so richtig aus der Nähe beobachten.
You know, and there's a lot to that, to getting that exactly, you know, where you get it distortion free across your entire view. And you know, that's key to and since we have the eye tracking now with that, you know, we're working with Tobii on the eye tracking, and we're using their latest version of eye tracking, and we pull that data in to build the profile, the distortion profile. And we've been working with them on exactly that interaction. So that's part of the key, the secret sauce, part of the secret sauce on getting it distortion free.
Okay. So, wow. I'm obviously looking forward to look through them.
They're quite the experts, by the way. Tobii is they're geniuses when it comes to a lot of these.
Okay, er spricht eben gerade drüber, dass sie eben ja daran arbeiten, dass sie wirklich ein distortionfreies Bild haben. Da sind sie noch dran weiterhin, und deswegen haben sie auch viele Prototypen der Linsen selbst. Und die sagen aber, durch das Eye-Tracking ist das wohl eine Hilfe. Kann ich mir jetzt noch nicht so richtig vorstellen, was das damit zu tun hat. Aber sie sagen eben, Tobii Eye ist da ein sehr professioneller Partner.
I'm looking forward to that.
They're quite the experts. So, and that one you don't necessarily have to trust PIMAX. You know, Tobii is the leader in these things. So,
man, I wanted to keep that question for later, but I can't wait. I must ask you now. I must ask you now already. Like, when will I be able to go hands on with the device? When can I really look through it?
I don't know. We'll go down that path. I was thinking about inviting you here, you know, and maybe you can do it here.
Yeah, well, I'm ready. I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Sebastian fragt, wann kann das Gerät sehen?
Real Seeker down here, and maybe 3 or 4 YouTubers down here, and we can do it all.
Sure.
I don't think it'll be that long.
That
it's
would
already
be fantastic.
Where you could,
I'm ready.
It's already to a sufficient degree where you could do that. I mean, but
okay.
But there just aren't very many samples. Is the problem.
Wir haben nicht so viele Samples, deswegen laden sie eben Thrillseeker, Sebastian und ein paar andere noch ein. Quasi jetzt schon, und er könnte schon durchgucken. Aber angeblich haben sie nicht genug Geräte, um eins rauszusenden. Dann wird es wohl auch schwierig mit der Produktion dieses Jahr, würde ich sagen.
To what you have promised in that Frontier event. So can you use that device already?
Let me give you a little qualifier. Mine does less than Martin's does. His is a newer one than mine.
Sweetviver hat auch einen Prototypen, und das ist aber neuer, das Gerät, was er hat.
He's probably
er hat wohl ein älteres, was soll das jetzt heißen soll. Also bitte drüber reden, ja?
What does it do right now? It has 6 degrees. It has 6 DOF tracking based on the 4-camera system, the high-speed system. It has the new lenses. It's got the QLED displays. It's got the new backlight,
die wir schon kennen.
It does wireless. In a minute here, when you show the pictures, you'll see the samples for that. So it has wireless. The wireless that works is the 60 gigahertz. The 6E we're still working on, and doesn't work as good yet. Although you can use the 6E to download software with the standalone.
Das 6E-Modul haben sie noch nicht zum Laufen bekommen. Wahnsinn, sogar damit haben sie Probleme jetzt gerade. Also das lässt nicht darauf hoffen, dass das Gerät für alle dieses Jahr erhältlich ist. Das ist jetzt meine Einschätzung, aber da wird ja später schon mal noch was zu sagen.
I think. But you can download with Wi-Fi 6 into the unit, but you can't. But actually using it for for the wireless control doesn't work well yet for 6. 60 gigahertz does. What else?
So
the eye tracking.
The
Wigig scheint schon gut zu funktionieren.
Works well already, and you can play Steam VR games using this device in front of you.
You can play Steam VR games. Well, perfectly. You can play them cabled,
Okay.
and then when you're running Wigig, it works. But you know, you can get some weird. Well, on mine, you can get some weird sort of glitchy.
Okay, nee, Wigig läuft auch
It's
nicht
not
perfekt.
perfect.
Er kann nicht mit
It's getting
Wigig
there.
spielen, da gibt's
Every day you
Probleme.
get a better version.
Okay.
You know, that's the cool thing
Ich meine, er
about
hat einen
testing.
Prototypen.
Is
Und
that
ja,
they say, try
Sweeper hat
this.
wohl schon besseren, aber
And
das bringt
sometimes
uns
when
ja
they
jetzt
say
hier
try
nichts.
this, it doesn't work at all. and sometimes they say try this, and it's a big.
Aber er ist ehrlich, ja.
And,
Er ist ehrlich, das muss man ihm hoch anrechnen. Er könnte ja auch einfach was anderes erzählen. Kann ja keiner überprüfen.
Try to verify that. And sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's not, and you just keep moving up. And we've been doing that since I don't know how long. You know, people don't realize. I mean, we released the AKX 2 years ago, and we were working on these headsets before then. So, I mean, we've been working on these new headsets for years. So, this is a lot different than the earliest versions that we had.
Er sagt, die arbeiten natürlich schon Jahre, auch wenn es immer noch nicht raus ist. Ja, und sie sind jetzt schon weit gekommen, meinen sie, aber ja, immer noch nicht am Ende natürlich.
And these have
so
fans.
Let's get back to the module.
Let's
get back to the device. What it can do now?
Sure. It's got fans. It's got these active cooling system. It has
die Kühlung funktioniert schon mal.
Right now, the backlight
That's
and
good.
the one I have doesn't. It only. It doesn't. The full dimming capability is not in there yet.
Okay, die Mini-LED hintere Beleuchtung funktioniert bei ihm hier noch nicht.
They have the QLEDs.
Komplett dimmen.
It has a new.
The final panel is already in this headset.
The QLED panel.
Yes.
The final QLED panel. Yeah, right. I think it's either final or close to final.
Okay.
The problem is, you know, with these new panels, they're not available in real large quantity. You know, it isn't just us.
Also, Sie sprechen gerade darüber, Sebastian hat gefragt, ob die finalen QLED-Panels schon drin sind. Er sagt, ja, schon, oder höchstens fast so gut, wie sie sein sollen. Aber er sagt, er spricht darüber jetzt, dass es die gar nicht in hoher Stückzahl gibt, das ist das Problem. Ja, gut, das ist ein großes Problem, wenn man ein Headset in großer Stückzahl verkaufen möchte.
Yeah, all right. So, keep on going.
Sehr transparent tatsächlich. Hätte ich so jetzt nicht erwartet.
The audio is better than ever.
Okay, der Sound ist besser als zuvor, sagt er.
The XR2 to do the audio processing for the first time.
Das liegt vor allem an einem XR2-Chip, der hier das Audio Processing macht, sagt er.
And so the audio is night and day. It's really impressive. So
okay, ich glaube ihm das sogar, weil
you don't have to touch
vorher waren die wirklich sehr schlecht.
At all. With the, you know, like right now with the DMAS, you got to fool with the
it's not so great, honestly speaking, in my opinion, the DMAS. Let's be honest about it. Okay, so here it's better.
I really like the audio in the 12K. So.
Okay, but why can't this audio also be on the 8KX? What is the upgrade? What is the upgrade? Did you change something for the hardware, or why is it now here better than it was on the 8KX?
Yeah, this is THX and DTS certified on the speakers.
Er fragt jetzt gerade, ob die Lautsprecher auch hardwaremäßig verändert wurden. Aber ja, schien nicht so. Weil er sagt jetzt gerade, es ist nur das Audio Processing.
So this makes the difference?
12K, yes, it makes a huge. You don't have to touch it. You can just play the games and you don't have to do it. There's no fiddling or configuration at all.
Ja, also eigentlich gleiche Audiolösung, nur besserer Soundprozessor. Und da, glaube ich, können sie auch ein Update für die anderen rausbringen. Das ist so ein bisschen jetzt hier Augenwischerei aus meiner Sicht.
One neat thing about the 12K is the fact that since things happen on inside, it has internal controls. It doesn't rely on your Windows PC as much. So, a lot of things like audio control, color contrast, backlight control, all that happens internally. And So you don't with Windows PCs, you have this wide variety of drivers for all sorts of things, and everybody's a little bit different. And
Okay.
I think that's one of the really nice things of having integrated processing power like this has. Also, when you do things like updating the firmware, it's much smoother because it happens all internal. You can do it without the computer. You don't need the PC at all to do that.
So no more
And
command line
we're at-
tools needed?
yeah, the cool thing is it's completely unified. So that
Okay.
means that
Er hebt jetzt vor hier, dass
right now on
das
the ATX,
Headset
you load high
viel
tools,
eben
right?
selbst machen kann, ohne
You can see the
Computer, also
headset,
Over-the-Air-Updates, also wie eine Quest, ja.
and then it tries to update if
Das,
it's not
finde ich,
new
ist
enough
gar
and
kein
all that. It doesn't
Vorteil,
work that
wenn
way
es
anymore.
einfach nicht vorher schon so schlecht gewesen wäre, wie bei der
when it
PIMAX
comes up,
8KX
it's all
beispielsweise,
internal.
wo viele
You can-
Probleme bei Firmware-Updates
update.
auftreten und so weiter.
Okay.
Now, whether or not it'll still be that way by the time it releases, I assume it will.
All right.
Also es sind Kleinigkeiten,
Ja,
die sie
what
hervorheben
else?
jetzt an der
What
Stelle
else,
oder er eben
is ready
nicht
already?
bedeutend,
So, yeah.
aber es ist ja nett, das zu
Runs on a
erfahren.
battery,
Runs on battery, okay.
which is completely new. This one has a 6,000 mAh battery. Whether or not we can increase that to a higher value by the time it releases, we don't know.
It's a hot swappable battery, right? We're going to see this, by the way.
Yeah,
we,
you can just pop.
yeah, right,
can
right.
just
By the
pop it
way,
out.
we are going to see that later in the stream for the first time. So this is going to be a
Yeah.
world premiere. We're going to see the lots of things here for the first time. So that is really cool. So absolutely stay tuned here.
Ja,
Yeah,
also
keep on
über
going.
den Stream werden wir noch
Here's
Dinge
the
jetzt zum
Joystick
ersten
controller
Mal
for the
hören und
first time,
sehen.
too.
Deswegen bleibt
Right,
unbedingt
right.
dran.
Lots of firsts here. Nice.
Yeah.
Ich übersetze übrigens natürlich nicht jedes Wort, weil nicht alles hier von Relevanz ist, wenn die so ein bisschen rumshakern zusammen.
PIMAX base station.
For the
which is,
Wigig.
That's right.
Cool.
That's
So
right.
lots of things
So
to
you
look
get to see
forward to.
that.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit of a scoop, I guess.
Right.
Mit und ohne Base Station gibt es Wigig.
Okay, so
Yeah. So
yeah. Okay, so lots of things
that's
work.
pretty much it. Oh, it
okay.
has features that maybe we didn't talked about too much. I mean, it's got, for instance, little things that it has that are new. For instance, the how on AKX you have when you try to take out the comfort kit. On the 12K, the comfort kit is connected with magnets, so that whole thing just snaps off and
Okay, yeah, that's
back
better.
on real easy.
Yeah.
So you can pop it off to clean the lens.
Er sagt jetzt gerade, dass eben alles magnetisch ist, was das Facecasting angeht.
And you can have special
Das sind
versions
Quality of
this
Life
for-
Things, auf jeden Fall begrüßenswert hier.
Swap.
Nichts, was es nicht schon gibt.
Basically, if you were to just people
Aber
that talk
jetzt
about,
gerade, die Frage war ja, warum jetzt
you know,
er überhaupt darüber
12K is-
spricht.
like you were saying, like,
Was
man,
läuft schon bei der Brille, hat er gefragt, Sebastian.
this thing is so difficult or such a high bar to
Und
set. I don't
mir
know
fehlt
if
jetzt
I
gerade, dass er
really
sagt,
agree with that.
es
And
ist
the
stunning
reason is,
PC-VR möglich.
if
Das
you
hat
look
er
at
nicht
each-
gesagt.
It's not that
200 Hertz,
any
6K pro
individual
Auge,
feature is some
4-Bit Rendering.
ridiculously high bar. People would have expected us to have that move from an 8K to a 12K. If that was all we did, you would have thought nothing of it.
Right.
6K per eye instead of 4K per eye makes sense, right?
With the
moving to a
PIMAX logic,
QLED,
yes.
panel. Well, you know what I mean. Moving to a QLED panel
Right.
makes
right.
sense that we might want
Makes-
to do that. And
Makes sense,
a dimming
makes sense.
backlight, sure. That's something if you look at each individual feature, the
Yep.
eye tracking from Tobii, the 6 degrees of freedom tracking from Qualcomm. It's from Qualcomm. They've been, it's not
Right.
a huge stretch. It's their latest version. It uses 4 cameras, very high speed.
Kevin, we had this talk already when we
very
talked
high
last time.
detail
We had
tracking.
exactly this talk when we talked last time already. So let's better concentrate on what's at hand here in front of you. So
Sure.
how about what problems does PIMAX 12K still have that have to be
Muss ja schon sagen,
solved before
Sebastian,
the launch?
geht ja ganz schön
I
ran,
think that's more
ja.
interesting.
Also,
The Wi-Fi.
das könnte ihm wirklich,
The Wi-Fi 6 is amazing.
das könnte ihm wirklich hoch anrechnen jetzt.
Getting
Ne? Also
the-
Kevin sucht
getting
ein
the 60
bisschen
gigahertz
Unterstützung, aber er bekommt sie nicht.
Um,
Sebastian zieht das
is
durch.
another
Also MRTV steht für
So it's more about the
Unabhängigkeit.
Wi-Fi
Merkt euch
is
das.
right now the problem.
Wi-Fi 6E ist etwas, was bei dem neuen Gerät noch nicht
The issues
funktioniert.
this has reminds me of the kinds of things that the AKX had, you know, the glitchy stuff that, you know, that you're always working through on prototypes
Yeah.
that are natural to prototypes. It's a typical development process. The only thing different about this development process, it has a lot of pieces to it, you know, and
Okay.
but most of the pieces we've been working on for 2.5 years. So, and they're all evolutionary of things that we already released, you know,
Right.
but everything from the housing to the facial appliance to the speakers to the joysticks, which are based on the sword controllers, on and on and on. They're all evolutions of things we've already done. So, essentially, it's a package of next version things all in one. The one true new feature is the battery operation and the standalone operation, which actually works quite well.
Okay. That is
So
super interesting.
that piece is working great. And
Okay,
it's
also
quite
das Gerät
nice. And
funktioniert
there's a
gut
fair amount
mit
of applications
Batterie,
for it
erklärt er
already,
gerade.
you know. I can't
That
get
is
into
going
what
to
they
be
are,
interesting.
Das schien eine
We
große
also get
Herausforderung
we
gewesen
do
zu
have
sein.
a-
Anderer, also sonst
we
würde
do
ich
have a
jetzt nicht
fair
verstehen,
amount of
warum man das jetzt als Feature
applications
hervorhebt.
for it already, and
Okay.
you know,
Okay. I have lots of questions
it's going
for
to
that
take
part.
time.
Yeah.
It's going to get the store filled with standalone things.
Right. Right.
Some people get it out quicker. Some people are going to take some time.
Okay.
But we'll have some big name things in there, like, you know, that are people recognize, and some
This
you know,
whole standalone
third-party
part is
things in
going
there
to be
too.
really interesting, and it's a whole section of today's
Yeah.
show. So this might take a bit longer. But you know what?
I'll talk
Now-
about one thing you were asking about.
Yeah.
You were asked
Yep.
about what doesn't work. I
Yeah,
guess. Or what we're evolving right now. And one of the things we're evolving right now is what you get when what you can see in the standalone mode. And you know,
Exactly.
when
That's
you
super
move to
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so when
Okay,
you move to
cool. Wir werden
standalone
gleich einen
mode
Einblick
on
oder
these
heute einen
new
Einblick
headsets,
in das
it's a
Home-Menü
lower
sehen, des
FOV
Standalone-Modus.
and a
Das ist
lower
natürlich super
refresh rate
spannend. Mal gucken, ob es wie die PIMAX
lower
Experience des
resolution.
Pi-Tools
it
eben
reduces
sein
the
wird.
amount of data that the XR2
Das wird
has
also
to,
jetzt exklusiv hier sein. Das
deal
kennen wir
with.
nämlich noch gar
Now,
nicht.
Our XR2 is a lot higher clock than because we have active cooling. It is it runs much higher bandwidth than like a Quest. It's actually dramatically faster
Okay, er
processing.
hebt hier hervor, auch wenn es der gleiche XZ2 wie in der
And
Quest
in
ist,
that moment, I
And,
must ask the
wird-
question: How loud is the active cooling? Because I have
wird
some
aber
active cool
der
headsets,
Prozessor
and I
hier
don't
sehr
enjoy
viel
them
höher
because
getaktet
the fan
sein.
is so loud.
Und natürlich dann noch mehr Abwärme produzieren. Und Sebastian fragt jetzt, wie
you can
laut
hear
ist denn
it.
der Lüfter? Oder die beiden, das sind ja zwei.
It's like a low hum right now.
Okay.
Gut, er
And
sagt natürlich
that's
nicht
one of
laut.
the things
Ja.
that they've improved a lot from the first ones I had. The very first one, I remember the first one I saw, I laughed about it because it sounded like a vacuum cleaner, you know.
Okay,
And,
so that's probably my first reaction when I started the HTC Focus 3. When I thought, okay,
I would say, let me put it this way: it's much quieter than the Focus 3.
okay,
I have a Focus 3,
yeah, me too.
and
Ah, okay, cool.
I'd say it's half
Also
the
er
volume.
sagt, das
of that.
erste Mal, als er das
Right
Gerät
now.
gesehen
Alright,
hat,
but
war das so
for the
laut wie ein
Focus 3 in the very
Staubsauger.
beginning,
Und
they
jetzt
had
ist
the
es
problem
leiser als ein
that
Focus
it
3
would
und das ist
accelerate,
schon
you know,
mal
the frequency
gut.
of the thing.
Right.
That was the problem. This like driving it up and
Genau,
driving it
Sebastian
down.
sagt nochmal, das
like,
Problem war die
this was crazy.
Lüfterkurve
Now
bei
for
der
the
Focus 3.
It's also like
Ähnlich
more
wie
constant and it's
ja,
more
manche
bearable.
Computer
So,
auch falsch
compared to
von
that,
Haus
more
aus konfiguriert
bearable.
sind.
You would still say
Und wichtig ist eben die
this is not
Lüfterkurve,
as loud
weil
as
da
the
kann man
Focus
sich auch an ein Rauschen
I'd say
gewöhnen.
this: when you're using a real on the standalone, it's much quieter than it is
Ah,
when you're connected to
das hätte ich nicht
SteamVR
gedacht.
PC.
Standalone
Okay,
ist
so
das Gerät
SteamVR PC is
leiser
is louder.
und wenn man es per
Yeah, it
Kabel
generates more
verbindet mit
heat
PC
when
ist
you're running
es
higher
lauter.
FOV and you're running the
Okay,
processor
weil
all the
einfach
way,
mehr
and
abverlangt
everything is
wird,
running
aber
as-
das
as
heißt, es wird
a-
trotzdem
but,
so viel mit
when
von
you
dem
run
Chip noch
standalone, it's pretty
gemacht.
quiet.
was dann beim
And,
Standalone weniger
and it's
gemacht wird.
much quieter than it was in the
Wow,
early days
also,
when I first
das
got
hätte ich jetzt
the
nicht gedacht.
original samples.
Okay,
So
good to know.
that's an industrial design thing, and that you just constantly try to evolve as you do new prototypes. So what
Right.
our expectation is to have it to a decent level before that is a big consideration, is getting it, because as it gets warmer, the fans get louder, and
Right.
so but I'd say it sounds like almost like a small one of those tablets, almost like a tablet PC that has active cooling in it.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
also,
right.
Er sagt, es klingt so wie so ein
now we've
Surface
heard about the
Pro,
battery before,
ja, so
the
ein
standalone stuff, and you
Tablet-PC.
know what? Let's have a look now
Yep.
at the pictures. This is going to be interesting. So
Jetzt
this
sehen
is
wir
a
wohl
world
neue
premiere
Bilder,
now.
die Sebastian
These are
bekommen
pictures
hat
that
vorhin
no
von
one
ihm.
has seen before,
Jetzt sehen
and
wir sie das
the
erste Mal.
453 people who are watching this live right now, and on the German stream, another few hundred, they're going to see it now for the first time. And these are pictures that you actually took of the device that's right in front of you, so we can show it better. And yeah, get ready, people, to make screenshots and to share that on Twitter, because this is going to be a world premiere coming up. I didn't say coming up in the beginning. Too bad. So now, get ready for this world premiere of
Jetzt sehen wir die Bilder.
this year.
Aha. Wir sehen
Okay,
die
Kevin,
Controller.
what are we looking at here?
Yeah.
What is that?
So you see the joystick controllers there.
Mach ich
You
mal
see the
raus hier.
12K. You can see the Wigig adapter on it. You also see the battery assembly. I have a second prototype Wigig adapter laying there, and then the base station. And the base station is our new PIMAX base station that you plug
Sieht
into
cool
the
aus,
PC.
ja. Also die Batterie sieht ähnlich wie bei
Remember,
der Focus
60
3 aus, die
gigahertz
war
is
dort
line of
auch
sight, so that
gebogen.
has to be
Dieser Turm, der aussieht wie so ein
it
Dyson
has to be in
Lüfter,
line of sight with where
das
your headset
ist
is.
der Wigig-Sender. Scheinbar
But so you
proprietär
have the
von
battery,
PIMAX.
joystick
Hätte ich nicht
controllers.
gedacht.
One thing it shows is the joystick controllers are
Dieser
you can
USB-Stick,
see a
der vor der
clear,
PIMAX liegt, das ist das, was man,
but in the real,
das sieht
in
man
the
auch
final
oben
versions,
an
it
der
won't be like
PIMAX.
that. It'll
Das
be
ist eben der
opaque, but
Empfänger
when we're
und es muss
testing,
auch eine Sichtverbindung
we
da
don't
sein. Das
use
ist
the
bei
special
Wigig
paint,
normal,
but,
war auch bei der
the
HTC
special
Vive
coating.
so. Ja, einen
But,
rechteckigen Controller und
Yeah,
haben sie von
and
Haus
then on that
aus.
one, like I say, it's got both 60
cover?
and the 60 gigahertz installed. But that just pops out. It's and then it
Okay.
has a magnet. You can see where it's connected by a magnet on the top.
So here, this part
Right.
here, there's a
It's got a
magnet
magnet
here.
inside the cable.
Okay.
Right.
Das ist ein
Okay, and
Magnet
here
am
this is
Headset.
a USB-C connector.
Hat er jetzt gerade gesagt, dass man das Wi-Fi-Modul
Correct.
anschließen muss, dass das nicht
no,
eingebaut
that's
ist?
actually
Also
a
Wi-Fi, nicht Wigig.
kind of a
Wigig macht
proprietary
ja Sinn.
connector
Okay.
for the Wigig.
Right.
It uses the physical USB-C connector, but the actual protocol right now is different.
Okay, and this, so this here is the same like this, right? It's just you just put it there to show it. This here.
Right. I just have two
Right.
of them.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Ah,
You're
okay.
lucky.
Das sind beides Wigig.
And
Yeah.
this here,
Gut, Gedankenübertragung.
does remind me of a Dyson fan.
I saw someone say that.
Just a small Dyson.
Okay, Sebastian findet auch, dass es wie ein Dyson-Fan aussieht.
So this is
Ja, ist ja
this
nicht
is
schlimm.
the base station that you need for Wigig.
Yeah.
And how would you connect that to your computer? What is the connection?
It connects USB-C, and we have two versions. We have an HDMI one, and we have a DisplayPort one.
Okay.
This one in the picture is an HDMI one, but whether or not we'll release it that way, I don't know.
Okay, got it. And I saw a question in the chat, like somebody was asking, okay, one is enough, or is there any chance that you could probably have like two base
a good question.
stations? Because this is line of sight,
theory-
right?
In theory, you could have more than one.
Okay.
In theory, although I've never tried it that way. So
Wird
Right.
hier
I've only done
gefragt
it
aus dem
once.
Chat, ob man mehrere
So,
Base Stations verwenden kann.
What kind
Personally.
of
Wüsste jetzt nicht, wieso.
range does this have? Like, where
It's
would
bigger
you put it?
than a
Where would
typical
like at what height
base
would you put it? Sorry.
Yeah.
Welche
I just
Range
put it on a
hat
table. We just put
Wigig?
it on a table. We were playing around with it at CES in Vegas, the early version of it before this one, and and we were able to
Wie
move
in
all
Las
around the
Vegas.
room,
Doch, die waren da nicht.
and then later on, we set it up in a little office, and we were able to move the entire office, which was a good
Also ich würde mal so schätzen,
25
so
feet at least.
5,
So
sogar 5 bis
yeah,
8
it can,
Meter
it can
bestimmt, wenn es eine
fit
Sichtverbindung
pretty
hat.
much any play
Das
space.
muss eine Sichtverbindung haben.
Okay, but you do need line of sight. It's really important to tell
Yeah,
people, right?
Ja.
I was
Das
going to
ist auch
say
so,
that, right
da können die auch
now,
nichts dran
some of
ändern.
the things that you have to evolve is, what happens when people walk in front of it? What happens
Right.
when something gets in the way?
Das ist interessant.
And
Was ist, wenn
how bad
jemand
is it
durch
when
die
that happens?
Verbindung läuft?
You
Ja.
know, and getting that where it's
Vielleicht
smooth.
Bücke ich mich ja auch irgendwie so und dann ist es
is
ja
key
keine
to the development
Sichtverbindung mehr, ne?
process. So
Like, shouldn't you
Und das
put it
scheint
up
auch zu
at a certain
funktionieren.
height to look down on the play space? Because you said you
You
put it
can.
on the table.
although we didn't have to, we didn't, and we don't. It's I just put it on the table, and
Okay.
I just make sure it's
Ja,
at
also es
least
kann einfach am
um,
Schreibtisch sein, da
4
wo
or
der
5 feet.
Playspace ist.
It doesn't work if
sagt
you're
er.
really close to it.
Er sagt aber
Like-
auch,
like-
es ist
like
noch sehr
within,
glitchy alles, also
say,
tja, mal
3
gucken, woran es
feet.
liegt. Software oder
Right.
Hardware?
But
Okay,
But,
the
it
Dyson, the Wigig
yeah.
base station. I like it. Okay, so, yeah. Nice.
Also,
Looks-
it can
looks-
theoretically we can do a version of that has where it can also do potentially. We showed it in the PIMAX Frontier, but we also are going to do a version of that has a processing power in it, where you can store the games in it and essentially a
Meint jetzt
video
den
card.
PIMAX-PC, das haben sie
Kind of
auch.
like a Steam Deck sort of thing.
Sowas
Got
wie
it.
ein Steam Deck.
Yeah, let's next.
Ja, das wird aber
let's
nicht
talk
reichen von der
about
Power.
the battery.
Das habe ich immer noch nicht
Sure.
verstanden. Aber das ist auch noch im
It's,
Fragenkatalog, das wird Sebastian
6000
bestimmt noch mal
milliampere
ansprechen.
hours.
6000
Right.
6000 Milliampere-Stunden
And,
Akku.
Yeah, it's
Auch
hot
die
swappable. That's what I
Angabe
personally
bringt
find
nichts.
is interesting. So does this
Die
mean
Batterie
that
ist nicht
somewhere
hot swappable,
in the
Sebastian.
headset there is a
Die ist nur
secondary
swappable.
battery to make this happen, like some small battery, so that just it won't
Right. It works
lose
just like the sword controllers do. Right.
It works just like what?
The sword controllers for the hot swapping.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. That is cool. And,
Das ist
it
eine
plugs
Information,
in.
die PIMAX
and then
bisher
you
noch nicht
simply
gesagt
take
hat.
out,
Und
yeah.
was kann denn die,
Okay, so
was
what I
kann denn
like
die
about
Sword
it-
Controller?
Yep.
I like it as a counterweight. It actually worked out really cool.
Ich glaube, die haben gerade. Ich bin mir sicher, dass es jetzt gerade ein Missverständnis war,
so
wenn
it
ich
pulls
ehrlich
the
bin.
headset off your nose, so you don't have any
Right.
weight. You have almost no weight on a 12K on your nose. It's all, it's more centered
Okay.
than previous headsets that we've used.
Okay.
or
So
manufactured.
so how heavy is the device with that battery? Well, you do need that battery anyways, right? Even if you would use it in a cable version, you would still need to have the battery inside the device.
In the version I have, yes, but
Yeah. But it makes sense because
it-
the XR2 is still working for the tracking, right?
right. Whether or not it'll still be that way upon release, I don't know.
Yeah.
Also jetzt
But,
ist doch so, auch wenn man
Right
sie
now, it has to have the battery in there. No matter
als PC-VR-Headset betreiben
How
will
much
mit
time do
Kabel,
we have
braucht
to
man
hot swap?
jetzt noch.
Black Sun 75
Auch den
is asking me
Akku.
right now.
Und das macht keinen Sinn. Und er sagt,
what.
oh, jetzt gerade ist es noch so, vielleicht ändern wir es noch.
Samples, you have
Weil
about
auch der
30
XR2 kann
seconds.
natürlich über Strom betrieben
less.
werden.
Okay, yeah, I think 30 seconds should be good enough.
30 Sekunden braucht man so zum Handeln
I
des
suppose it's not so complicated to make
des
this
Swap-Vorgangs der
happen.
Batterie.
Yeah, right.
I didn't
Um,
actually time it, but you can just pull it out and put it back in.
Okay. So how heavy is the device with that battery?
This
So
one
jetzt
is
das
about the
Gewicht.
same weight as an 8KX,
8KX, gleiches Gewicht.
Okay.
roughly.
Yeah. So can you
Kann ich schwer
can
glauben.
tell us around
Weil dann
yeah how
hat
heavy
sie
is
alles
that
besser.
for people who don't know the
I don't-
8KX?
I
Like,
haven't weighed it. It just seemed the same to me. I'll actually, what I could do is after
kennt
this,
das
I could
Gewicht
put it on a
nicht.
scale
Yeah.
and then put it out there for you.
Okay. So
But I don't know.
right. Okay, good. But it's good to know that it will be around the same like an 8KX. So
Das
Again, that's
ist
subject to
ziemlich
change
unüberwürdig, ehrlicherweise.
because
Alleine wegen des
the
Akkus schon.
over
Das heißt
the
nicht, dass sie
development
dann
process will
unbequemer
affect
ist,
that
wenn sie
some.
schwerer ist. Sie ist
yeah.
ja vielleicht
So
besser ausbalanciert.
same weight with battery or without battery?
It's a little bit lighter without the battery,
That makes
and,
sense in
and
general.
slightly heavier with the battery.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that it's heavier with the
Yeah.
battery. Okay, got it.
I meant then the AK.
Then the
in
then the
contrast
AK.
to
Okay, then the AKX.
AKX.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Yeah, all right.
It's
Cool.
definitely lighter
I
than
like-
AKX is
Yeah,
without the battery.
Okay, ohne Batterie ist sie
I
sogar
like,
leichter
I
als
like the
AKX.
idea of it being a hot swappable battery. Will you be able to charge the battery like outside of the AKX? So will you have some kind of charging station
Yeah.
for that?
Yep,
Okay.
we do indeed have a charging station. And
Gibt
it's
noch
just,
eine
you just take the
Charging
battery,
Station.
snap it right into it. And
Wo man die reinlegen
Is
Plug
it,
it in.
is it an accessory that you have to buy, or is it something that comes with the device?
it's going to come with it. The
Oh,
charger
okay,
will
so
come
beim
with it.
Gerät dabei.
Something
Yeah,
Ja,
with it.
and it's
That's good.
and
nicht schlecht.
the one I have is a plug-in one, but we might do it USB. We haven't
Ja,
decided if it's going to
direkt
be
USB
plug in the wall
reinstecken
or
wäre
USB.
eigentlich auch klüger,
Right.
But
wenn
the
das
one I have
passt.
is a plug-in with a power supply.
Okay.
But
Mhm.
that subject to change. It either way is easily possible.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I suppose it's not going to come with a second battery. So I suppose you're going to sell the batteries as an accessory. Is that right?
It will come with a battery.
Yeah, of course it will come with
It comes
one
with a
battery,
and the charger. Right.
but not a
And we'll
second
sell
battery.
chargers and batteries separately along with all the other accessories for this. It'll
Okay.
be
Okay.
Eine Batterie ist
as
natürlich
you know, you have
bei,
accessories for the AKX.
und man
it's
kann
gonna be
You're right.
similar.
die Batterie eine
the
zweite dann
covers and
kaufen,
all the things
um sie
like
dann
that.
schnell tauschen zu können.
Any
Of course, with the
idea-
with the 12K, you get a lot of accessories with it. You get the eye tracking and facial tracking and all those kinds of things are part of it.
Okay. Any idea about the pricing of an extra battery?
No,
Okay.
no way to announce the price. I don't think it'll
Right,
be
right.
expensive though.
Okay.
It's an inexpensive. It is a completely custom device, the battery, but
Er
it's
sagt,
not
die
expensive.
Batterie ist nicht so teuer. Ja.
So
Right.
it shouldn't be too bad.
Vielleicht spricht er jetzt über den
But it has
Einkaufspreis
one
und der
battery
Verkaufspreis
and
wird dann
it'll have
teuer.
one battery in
Dann
the
wisst
box.
ihr, wie viel Geld sie damit machen.
Right. Yeah. Cool. Let's let me.
We
just
could
check
always
it.
do a bundle. You know,
Yeah.
we could always have a bundle where you get the joysticks. The base bundle that we've been talking about will come with the joysticks, battery, charger, headset. You'll get the DMAS, essentially the DMAS 2.0, which is the new DMAS included. You get it's enough to do everything. It's enough
Also
to
er
do
hat jetzt
everything
ein
with
bisschen
the,
vom Lieferumfang gesprochen,
you know,
Controller sind
right out of the
bei und so,
box.
Install-Tracking,
is the idea.
Batterie,
Okay. So
Ladestation.
what are we
We
looking
don't
at
want
here
people
right
to have
now?
to buy base stations and controllers and things like that is the idea. We want people to be able to
Right.
plug it in, turn it on, and use it right away.
Und ja,
Got it.
man braucht natürlich
Like a
dann in
quest.
dem Status
Right. What are we looking?
keine
but it's going to be
Base-Stations.
more expensive
Aber das
than
heißt, dass die
$349.
Lighthouse-Module extra kosten.
So what are we looking
Indeed.
at?
Vielleicht am
Yeah,
Anfang noch
indeed.
nicht
What
verfügbar
are we
sein
looking
werden.
at?
Functionality,
Gucken, ob
we
Sebastian die
want
Frage
to
noch stellt.
We want it to be just turn it on and go kind of thing.
Okay, cool.
And
So-
which is on an 8KX, you don't have that, and it's turn it on and you connect it to your PC. You've got base stations have to be all positioned, and there's a fair amount you need to do to set it up. And
Mhm.
we want people to be able to turn this thing on and play a game in 10 seconds.
Okay,
So-
yeah, I like that, obviously. So what are we looking at here right now? Probably this is the area here where you would insert the battery at the back of the head
The
strap.
battery
is that right?
backer. Right, and the head strap and the new speakers.
Right. So this looks quite similar to what we have on the head strap that we have right now, right? The 8KX head strap here with this knob.
Slightly redesigned version of it.
Okay. What did you change?
It has the mechanism for tightening is a little different.
Okay.
the
Ähnliches
shape-
Headstrap wie bei der AKX.
Is it for your
Bisschen
head?
anderes
a little different.
Design. Wenn man sie festmacht, ist ein bisschen
And
anders.
they've done some.
intern
It's like almost
gemacht
all the
mit
parts
dem-
in
mit dem
this compared to
Drehregler
the 8KX, and then going back. It's a
Okay.
evolution.
Ja, genau, eine
So
Evolution, sagt er jetzt
every
auch.
part
Ja.
is a little bit tweaked.
Right, right. Like I can remember that you told me when we spoke last for the 8KX head strap that you would need to actually put the back part a bit more down, right? Than actually you would
That's
think
key.
you should do. Is it the same here, or did you improve on that part?
Yeah, no, this one is the hinge
You're
is
right, hinge.
it's got a new hinge that just go where you can just rotate it all the way down instantly, so
Okay.
it's much easier.
Right, cool. Yeah, let's see what other pictures we have here to show. Oh, yeah, that's going to be interesting. So let's talk about this picture here. Controller. Yeah, we see the controller here for
Ja,
the very
also
first time. And
das
yeah, this
sieht
is
nach
still a
einem
prototype.
Prototyp aus, ja.
Right.
Right, so this, this is not going to be transparent, obviously, in the final version. But we do see
Right.
Also nicht wie so ein alter Game Boy.
Sensors to pick up the infrared light, I suppose. Or tell us
Correct.
more about the controller. It does remind me of obviously of the Oculus Touch controllers.
Mhm.
But that's in my book that's not bad because they are good, right?
That's a popular and
You're right.
particular layout, and these are optically tracked controllers. So so the headset is doing most of the tracking of the controllers. So they put out infrared LEDs in the controllers. As a result of that, they let the batteries in the controllers last a very long time.
So
on
yeah,
these.
basically very similar to what we see with the Quest.
Okay, also
Because
lange
it's the same
Batterielaufzeit,
The batteries in these
eben
things
durch
can
das
last.
Infrarot.
I have never even charged mine. I mean, it's been.
Ja,
let's
das
put it that
glaube ich
way, it's been a
ihm. Ist bei
while.
der Quest auch so.
Okay.
It
Gleiches
charged.
Layout
I
wie bei der
charged it a
Quest
month
auch.
ago.
Right.
So,
Wer auch immer da den Schuh erfunden hat.
So is it the
mein
same like with the
normale
Quest controllers
Controller
that
für den
you
Konsolen
put
sehen
in
ja auch immer
batteries,
gleich
or
aus.
would you charge them? Because we don't see a port here on this picture.
Kann man sie aufladen oder kommt
yeah,
dort
the
Doppel-A
battery,
drin rein?
that whole side slide, it works just like the sword controller does, where
Okay,
the
also
slide
es sind
slides
Akkus da
off and you
drin.
put the battery in.
Okay.
Da
so here
sehen wir
we
jetzt die
see a bit more.
Controller. Sieht
Yeah,
fast wie
very
ein
familiar
Oculus-Logo
setup.
aus auf dem Menü-Button.
Right, so
Yep.
here
Joystick controller.
Ja.
we see it here for the first time. That's cool.
Yeah.
Exactly. Does this come from the same
Ist die Frage, ob
company
das
that does the Oculus Touch
kapazitive
controllers?
Buttons hat.
No, we designed this thing
Okay.
entirely.
Right.
Still a work in progress. Obviously, we haven't done the completed the ring.
Diese Öse da links oder oben jetzt
opacity
in dem
and,
Bild
and all of that just yet.
scheint
But you can see it
right.
works
So
fine,
eine-
and you can see it.
ja für so eine
Okay,
Handschlaufe zu sein.
Very
ne?
cool. Cool to
Wirklich.
see it. Cool to see it here for the first time. Yeah, well, in my opinion, it makes absolute sense to use the Oculus Touch setup, right? Because it's simply the most used setup here. So here we have the menu button. We have
A menu button.
menu button.
You got the
exactly. Trigger as well. Yeah. So,
Joystick, A and B.
okay, but also tell us about does it have any kind of capacitive touch like the Oculus Touch has, or is there any kind of finger tracking?
That's to be determined. The sword controllers do have the electronics in them for that.
Bis jetzt
Whether or
noch
not it'll
kein
make it into this,
kapazitives Touch.
I don't know.
Die haben's noch
We've
nicht
produced
geklärt.
versions.
That
both
sounds
ways.
like a clear no to me, honestly speaking.
I don't-
Because well, you
I
want to
wouldn't
launch
necessarily
this
say
in
that.
this year, right? So probably no.
Remember, these are all evolutions of things we already make. So we already have the touch electronics in the existing sword.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of whether or not you can get support for it. In the software where you can
Okay.
build a bridge so that existing software can take advantage of that. or
Ja,
not.
Sebastian hat hier richtigerweise
We've never had a problem just
angezweifelt,
having it
dass
in there
wenn
and
sie es
having
jetzt noch nicht
drivers
haben, dass
to
es dann auch
make
nicht
it work.
kommen wird.
But
Aber
it's-
Kevin
that's the route
sagt,
that
sie
you
haben
could
ja
go,
schon
right?
alles
That's something
eigentlich.
that
Das
you
ist
could
für
just
die
do.
mehr oder weniger nur ein
Or is it
Essentially,
like
we
more?
would
Is
need
it
to
so much
have
more
emulation.
expensive?
Essentially, it's not a matter of expense. It's a matter of emulating the index, that capability in the index. So there's your rub, so to speak.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
But actually
cool.
having it in the design is easy, you know.
Yeah, got it.
But emulating the index controllers is harder.
Okay, good to know. So tell us a bit more about this part here. What is
Sie
it for?
verstanden,
Is
Sie
it
wollen
just for some
Index-Controller
accessories or
emulieren.
some kind of strap
Wollen
to
Sie
make
damit
them
Kompatibilität
connect to
erhöhen?
Yeah,
your
you can-
hands? Or
Das wäre ja mal was,
you
was
can
noch
connect
keiner
it
macht.
to your wrist with that. You've got a
Okay.
little strap that goes on there.
Ja,
You can
tatsächlich.
put your hands through the strap, or you can use
Okay.
that to connect it to your wrist.
Genau, es ist dafür da, um die Hand
cool,
dort
cool.
in
Yeah,
einen Strap zu machen.
nice,
Ja,
great.
cool.
And this comes this comes with the base version of this headset, right? So you
Right.
you said
You
like
get a
you
pair of
want
controllers,
they
you
get
get the
everything in the
battery,
box.
the
You get
charger.
okay. So let's go back
Right.
to the first picture, or I think that's the last picture you had here.
Was it?
Or I don't know.
Should
There's
be
more.
8.
Okay, yeah,
Essentially
right.
8.
There's more. There's more. Oh yeah, there's a lot more. Cool, great. Yeah, we'll get to the other pictures in a moment.
Okay.
Right. So in the box, you will get that inside-out tracking, and you will get those controllers. Everything is there basically. Basically, you want people to use this with these controllers. It's not about making people use the Lighthouse the tracking, right?
Yeah. To use lighthouses, you have to change the sleeve.
You have
And,
to change the sleeve. Oh, let me just
Yeah.
let's have a look at this here at this picture. So is this here the area?
that entire piece comes off.
This
All the
this
way. Move the mouse back. Move the mouse back. To the other way. Towards about right in the middle. Little to the left. Right. Well, it ends right there is where the sleeve, that whole piece
Oh,
right
this
there.
this thing here, this whole thing,
Yes.
you would pull it off
Das
for the
wechselt man
modules.
aus, die Faceplate,
Correct.
gegen das
Okay,
Lighthouse-Modul.
so
Ja,
if you
also wie
want-
bei der
if you
HTC
want
Vive
Lighthouse
Cosmos.
tracking, if you want to use your Valve Index controllers,
Correct.
you would have to purchase the Lighthouse module.
You would have to purchase the lighthouse sleeve, which is
The
which
lighthouse
is the whole.
sleeve, yeah.
It's a faceplate,
Genau,
Right.
die nennen es Sleeve.
And that
Also,
whole
ja,
faceplate
Faceplate.
comes
Das
off.
muss man separat
so
kaufen.
you
Das ist
can
wichtig zu
pull that
wissen.
off and put
Das
lighthouse
ist nicht
tracking
im
in.
Lieferumfang enthalten.
We also
So-
have a version that has
Das
cameras on the
Gerät
front,
hat hauptsächlich
Yeah. Okay.
Inside-Out-Tracking
and
hier.
it turns it into an AR device.
Dadurch, dass
essentially.
es ja eben auch ein
Okay, cool. Yeah, we want to talk about
Standalone-Gerät
this as
immer auch
well.
ist.
I'm just wondering, when you come out with this, will the Lighthouse module be ready?
I don't know. It
Okay.
should be.
Oh, es ist unsicher, ob das
So, in
Lighthouse-Modul
general,
beim
you're
Start
right,
verfügbar
it's not
sein
a-
wird.
The-
Er
the-
sagt,
the
es
team-
sollte so
I-
sein, aber
I
er
don't
ist sich
have
nicht
one, but
sicher.
the team keeps telling me that it's laughably simple.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
for
Okay,
them,
good. Yeah, right.
and
Also es
they keep
existiert
saying that,
scheinbar so
so
richtig
they're
noch
like,
gar nicht.
we don't need to send it to you because it's so easy. I'm like, okay.
Und er
I'd
sagt,
like
ihr
to
wolltet
see
das
it
nicht mal
anyway.
langsam
Yeah,
machen.
me too.
Und das Team sagt, das ist so
Just
einfach,
anyway,
da
except
brauchen wir
when
jetzt noch nicht mit
Martin-
anfangen.
Yeah.
Ja,
I know
okay.
that the community
Dann
cares
wissen
about
wir jetzt,
Lighthouse
warum manche Sachen dort
Yeah,
nicht laufen.
and me too. I have
Yeah, me too.
my whole setup is like so.
Also er erwartet schon, dass Lighthouse da
Exactly.
ist.
But,
Denn er mag
But
Lighthouse.
would it be correct if I say that for the PIMAX 12K, your priority will be the inside-out tracking, and this what we see
Right.
here right now?
Yes,
Okay,
that's the base device.
that is the base device that everybody should.
The only
simply
thing
buy.
that doesn't come with the base device is the 60 gigahertz adapter.
Ich habe ihn jetzt
Okay,
mal gefragt,
got it.
Sebastian, ob er ihn fragen kann,
So,
ob er das Modul mal abnehmen
How
kann.
good would
seiner
the
12K.
tracking of this be? This is, of course, the main question. How good
Tracking's
would the,
impressive.
how good would the
The
tracking be?
tracking- I think that's the least glitchy aspect of it as far as
Okay.
being completely done.
Also bis jetzt ist das Tracking das
The audio
Beste
is completely done.
an
The
der
tracking is
12K
completely
Gelöst
done.
und das Audio.
The 60
Das
gigahertz is
Tracking
coming
ist
along really
super,
good.
sagt er.
The
Yeah.
tweaking is still on the Wi-Fi and some of the eye tracking features, but
Okay.
and the dimmable backlight. It also has HDR algorithm,
Mhm.
and that part I tested
HDR
on the
Algorithm
prototype we
heißt,
had
sie können
at,
HDR-Signale auch verarbeiten.
in Vegas.
Das wird
but
uns erstmal
it doesn't-
nichts
this
auf dem
one doesn't
PC
have it.
bringen.
Okay. Of course, we are wondering about the tracking capability because we have seen other devices with inside-out tracking other than Meta, and they did not track so well in all cases. So the question, of
This
course,
is four camera high speed tracking,
yeah, the
and
question, of
this
course,
is the newest
is
version from Qualcomm.
okay. The question is,
Qualcomm
of
macht das
course,
Tracking.
what about the tracking volume? Is it comparable to that of the Quest 2? How about problems
Volume. What does that mean?
volume means like how far will they still be tracked without losing tracking? Like for the Reverb G2, for example, the tracking has problems in the very top or in the very bottom. Also, how about occlusion? How well would
Er
that
fragt jetzt
how
gerade,
well would that tracking
was ist das
work?
Tracking-Volumen? Wann
And
verlege ich das Tracking?
yeah, did you have to
Und eben,
invent that all by yourself?
wie ist es,
or
wenn
is
ich die
it
voneinander
something that
halte?
No.
Qualcomm just gives
Occlusion.
you and then you build on top of it?
Yeah.
Vergleich die
Yeah, no,
Quest 2.
Qualcomm, we work every day with Qualcomm on the new version of the high-speed tracking. And they have an algorithm that they've been evolving that was part of the development process provided, and they still are upgrading that.
Mhm.
It's some of the best tracking I've seen for this kind of tracking. I'll tell you what's I noticed about it over the other headsets I have, just to give you a comparison that
Yeah.
might be useful. I have a Quest 2 and I have a G2 and I have a bunch of headsets, but I'd say
Er hat schon mal
that,
viele Wettbewerbsheadsets.
where on
sagt
my
er.
Quest, we're really dark in the room. I have problems, and I notice that this works in a much darker area really well.
Er sagt, also das Tracking ist eigentlich so gut wie bei der Quest. Und was noch besser ist, dass es sogar noch in dunkleren Umgebungen funktioniert.
Environment, you know.
Die Quest
Okay.
braucht ja
Alright,
fürs
so
Headtracking
confirmed.
Licht, nicht
Tracking
fürs
better
Motortracking.
than
The other
Quest 2.
improvement- I'd say that the odds are good that this will be, for this type of tracking, the closest that we've gotten to lighthouse tracking without the base stations. So
Alright,
Also,
nice.
Sie sagen,
it is next gen tracking of this type.
Next-Gen Inside-Out-Tracking.
Great. You know,
Also so
what
nah wie man
the
nur
community
ohne Lighthouse Base
actually,
Stations an
on the
Lighthouse
German
herankommen
livestream,
kann.
what they're wondering is,
Wow.
could you show us live
Da sind wir mal
right
gespannt.
now how you take off that module just to show us
Okay,
how
jetzt
that would
fragt er
work?
mal eine Frage eben, oder eben von euch.
The
die
front
weitergeleitet
plate.
habt.
Could you just show us how you can rip that off?
No, they don't want me getting into any of that. They want to save
Okay.
some of those things for another.
Okay.
They want to
Okay.
do. They want to actually have. They want to do through the lens. They want to do a whole
Right. Okay.
list of things. And before this, actually, I was planning to do some of those kinds of things, and an email saying they
Don't
wanted
do
to
it.
show it in a separate event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair
Okay.
enough. But
Das ist
yeah,
ziemlich
I even
erlaubt,
had photos
das
of
zu
it that I
tun.
was supposed
Sie
that I
wollen
had
es sich
done
für
to send
spätere
you.
Events aufheben.
right.
But
Auch durch die
they-
Linse-Videos wollen sie noch veröffentlichen.
Okay. Fair
But,
enough.
no,
but it was
there's
worth
a lot.
a
there- and
question.
plus, there are some features that this has that are. One of the features is kind of a game-changing thing that I use with it every day. That is awesome, and that I would love to talk about. But I think people will love it, and it's something that it's going to be the kind of the meat of of a show that'll happen pretty quick, and
Okay.
it'll be kind of the hook, I think, for the next one. So we'll actually demonstrate some of these new features. You know,
Er teast jetzt gerade noch ein
But,
super
looking
cooles
forward to
Feature
that
an.
show.
but yeah, they
Was
they
er
want to
leider
hold back
heute uns
some
nicht
features
verrät.
to be kind
Also
of
er will
hooks
einen
for the
kleinen
future
Cliffhanger
shows, you know.
schaffen.
Okay, good. Yeah, we don't need to do
Yeah,
everything
PIMAX
in this
und
one
Cliffhanger.
show, but yeah, I still wanted to ask. Okay, cool, very cool. Now let's get into the question. So the community has some burning questions that I will now ask. And
Okay.
The first question obviously is, what is the target product launch window? When you told us about the device last year,
Sebastian
you said
fragt
it would be
jetzt, wann
Q4
soll das Gerät rauskommen, welchen
2022.
Zeitraum?
Are we still hot with Q4 2022? And when will people be able to pre-order this? Is there going to be some kind of pre-order mechanism, or how are you going to sell that?
Well, we have the trade-in program, and
Yep, we're going to talk about this
which
in a
is
moment
a
too.
big.
But
We have thousands of people who have said they wanted to do that. So But what you'll notice first is we're going to put up a website where people can sign up for that. They won't have to send in their headset. There won't be any money, nothing like that. It'll just be where you put your name in, and so we know how many. The idea is to get a handle on exactly how many trades there will be, and then calculate the processing order for shipping headsets.
Okay, for all the people who are not aware of the upgrade program.
Timing.
It's
on
you
the
promise
timing,
people.
it's still
Sorry.
be few.
Go ahead.
On the upgrade program, I'll just say any headset from PIMAX that you buy, you'll get whatever you spent on it as a credit against the 12K. So if you spent $1,300 on your 8KX, you can subtract $1,300 from the price of the 12K. And
how far back does it go? Like for
get,
example, if I bought the 8KX
from to day one. If you bought a PIMAX 5K Plus, if you did a Kickstarter, we'll still honor that. So whatever you spend,
really?
you get.
Oh my God,
yeah.
I really wonder how you can make this happen. Honestly speaking, it's like if I buy like
egal wann und wie viel du für eine Brille gekauft hast, wenn du eine offizielle Rechnung hast, kriegst du das als Discount für die neue.
It's a habit where if you get into doing PIMAX things, that we just continually have things that is good to be part of our family. So we always want to have where there's a benefit having a. We're still updating the firmware for the old PIMAX 2015, even today.
Okay. So this is this is some interesting information here right now. Whenever you spend any buck on any PIMAX headset, it is going to be put against the price of the PIMAX 12K QLED. Is that correct? Please confirm again.
Right. Yeah, any headset, any PIMAX headset.
Yeah, okay, but what if I have
no other brands?
All right, okay, yeah, obviously, but there's no having to send it back. I don't have to physically still have that. I have already sold it. Let's say I've already sold my 8KX, but I still have.
No, you have to. It's a trade-in program.
Oh, okay, that's important to understand. You have to send the handset. Yeah, that makes sense.
Trade-in.
So you have to send the headset back to you.
Right.
So, das war so nicht kommuniziert.
Okay, you're going to get lots of packages.
Yeah, no, we've had literally thousands of emails from people wanting to get started, get their name in and ask, hey, make sure I'm on the list, and but all you have to have is your receipt. The only thing you have to have is your receipt.
Mm-hmm. The only
thing,
the receipt and the device. What if the device is broken? It's not working anymore.
Yeah, we check it. No, we check the device when we get it. It has to be a working device in reasonable condition, and you have to have a receipt.
In einem guten Zustand sein. Und dann
what if I bought it secondhand from my best friend? I don't have a receipt. I have the device, but I don't have a receipt.
You broke up there. I didn't hear that.
What if I don't? What if I bought it secondhand from a friend? I didn't get it from Amazon. I didn't get it. I don't have the receipt. I just have the device. What to do?
You have to have bought it from. If you bought it from a friend, you would need to have bought it from eBay, where you have a receipt from somewhere we've heard of. We're not going to accept receipts from good buddy Bob, who writes a receipt for you and says it's $2,000 or something. We can't accept handwritten receipts or receipts from just between friends. It's got to be.
Also es muss eine Rechnung eben sein von einem autorisierten.
We actually have the rules on our website. Rules are fully documented.
Auf der Website sind die Regeln.
But
aber da steht, glaube ich, nichts von Trade-in.
How can you make that happen? It just sounds too good to be true. I mean, you must somehow make money as a company, right? There's going to be lots of people selling the old devices.
You'll still be, the headset won't be free, but it'll get you a device that has the highest specs of any device that's ever existed for about the same price you paid for your 8KX, and I will tell you, this device is relatively expensive to make, as you might imagine.
Yeah.
So it's with Tobii eye tracking, with all the sensors and microphones and the QLED and the special dimmable panels and the Wi-Fi and all the batteries and standalone. It's a complex device. So
That's
Also
that's
Sebastian
why I'm
fragt
wondering,
hier,
how
wie
is
können
it
Sie es
feasible
finanziell
for you as a
stemmen, so eine
company
Entscheidung?
then? If you have to have all these rebates going on, like there's going to be lots of people
Und er
who will
sagt, sie ist
send
natürlich
back
immer noch
in
nicht
their
gratis, die
devices.
12 Calculate,
I hope
So,
so.
aber
so
sie
the
I hope so.
question,
wollen damit
We want to have a big. We want
einfach
to. We want
viel
to have.
Cashflow machen.
I'll give you a little insight into the motivation, if that's of any use.
yeah, of course.
Number one, we want to have things for PIMAX customers that make it worthy of having a PIMAX for moving into the future. You know that if you have one, we'll offer you something to to move up to the next device. Number one, but number two is this is the key. This new line of devices we call the Reality Series has a standalone capability, and for the standalone capability to be worthy of developers to develop for, we got to get a good population of them out there. So if we released the 12K,
Okay, die Motivation dahinter ist,
and
auch wenn
didn't
es
have a
scheinbar sehr
way
teuer
to
sein wird,
increase those numbers
sie wollen unbedingt
early on,
eben das Gerät
it would
vorfinanzieren,
make it a
damit
lot
es
viable
viele
for
Geräte
developers
gibt,
to
es viele
start
Hersteller
developing.
gibt, Entwickler, die ihre
So,
Software
this
für
is also a
das
means to
Standalone
get a nice
PIMAX 12
software
Calculate
platform
eben
with a
machen.
good
Und
population of
das wird
software for
eben
people.
afterwards, also
And,
hinterher, dann
and
natürlich
nice
wieder Geld in die
prospects for
Kasse
the
spülen.
developer
Aber
community
es
that's
ist also eine
writing
Investition
for
in
this.
Zukunft.
So in
Und
Q4,
das ist
when
die
we release
Motivation.
the 12K, we want to have, it needs to be sexy and good for the developer community, so they can sell their
Spricht immer
software and
noch
make money.
von Quartal
So there has
4.
to be enough headsets out there to do that. So we have a lot of plans on how to do that and get the population high. So our goal is for this to be a high volume device. This is these devices. The Reality Series is designed to be high volume, and everything about it is designed to be high volume. Everything from the tooling to the way it's assembled,
Das Gerät
all of that is
ist
designed
so
for it to
designt, der
be
ganze
a
Entwicklungsprozess
device
wohl,
that's built
dass es auf eine hohe
in the
Stückzahl
many
hier
thousands of
ausgelegt
units
ist.
per week.
Ob das gut oder schlecht ist, werden wir dann sehen.
Okay. So how does the process
There's
of
3 plants now.
Okay. How does the process of making this upgrade really work? So there will be this website, and let's say I want the 12K QLED, and I did buy an 8KX. Do I first have to pay the full price of the 12K QLED first?
Nope.
Okay, so
we're only
so
going to
how is
charge
it
you
going
the
to work out?
difference. And so there will be no money involved when you sign up. We just want to get a handle on how many trade-ins there will be, so we know, get an idea
Okay, man
of
kann
how much
sich
many
wohl jetzt
people we
schon
need to put on it
registrieren,
and those kinds of
damit
things.
sie
But,
einfach das ein Gefühl dafür
there'll be a
haben, wie
website
viele
to sign
Leute
up.
es gibt,
and
die
that'll
das Gerät
also
einsenden.
it'll set the order that it ships in as well, and for the trade-ins, and then also when it gets to where we actually have a unit for you and the unit is manufactured, then we send you an email and you pay.
Okay.
And that's when the trade-in process happens.
Got it.
I didn't want to get in a
Wenn das
situation where
Gerät,
people are spending money
was
and
mir
sending their
zugewiesen ist als
headsets
Käufer,
before they get in.
Yeah,
produziert wird jetzt
yeah, I
gerade,
like it.
dann
I need
geht's
it-
los,
needs
dass
to
ich
happen
bezahlen muss,
right
dass ich mein
quick.
Gerät einsenden muss.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand.
And I didn't want people to think
Und
that the
hoffentlich dann auch
12K
eins
is like a
kriege.
Kickstarter or some kind of money raising thing. So we're not going to do any of the money, none of those kind of things until there's a headset for you. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Wow, man muss
So
nichts
does it also
vorstrecken,
mean
sagen
that
sie. Außer,
people who
das Gerät ist
will
versandbereit,
not
so
put
rum.
up an old device, they're going to be not prioritized. So the people who sent back an old device, they will get the 12K QLED first, and those people who want to get into PIMAX for the very first time without doing this trade-in, they will be on the back of the list. Is that correct?
Yeah, although I'll say, like I say, this is designed to be high volume. We already have 3 working plants, employees trained. It's not like it was before. We used to have to hire a bunch of people and we would have to train them and work in the factory, and we had to do. There's so much to bring up our capabilities to build thousands of headsets. I mean, we have a large population of 8KX. We build thousands and thousands of them every month, and in all of our headsets. Remember, we have 7 models, 4 active. That we have to manufacture now, and that's a big job. And we also have the new sword controllers. That's a whole new line. We have a lot of other pieces that we make, so packaging and all that, and we have all that now. So, this is designed where the manufacturer would be at a much higher scale early on in the process.
Ja, und
I
hier
don't
nochmal der
think that
Hinweis.
there'll be the sorts
Wir
of
können natürlich hier für
ramping
keine
that
Information und Richtigkeit
seen
hier
before.
garantieren,
So,
ja. Also wir warten ja genauso wie ab,
we
wie es dann
already
laufen
have
wird.
we've already been
Das
doing
ist
the
jetzt aber
tooling
wirklich
and
live
everything for
und
these
er
news.
fragt
So,
hier oder sagt hier eben Dinge, der Kevin Henderson, ja, für die er
it's
dann
a
auch stehen muss,
process
sage ich
already.
jetzt
It's
mal.
only
Ne?
March.
Also wenn ihr schon
And this is going to be Q4.
jetzt kein Vertrauen mehr zu PIMAX
So
habt,
you are-
So,
ich gehöre auch ein
and
bisschen
another
dazu,
cool thing
confident,
about the
dann ist das
training
durchaus
program.
berechtigt und ja, kann jetzt schlecht irgendwie
I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, yeah.
We do have
verbessert
this kind
werden.
of latency here, so that's why sometimes we talk over each other.
This
So
now
that's
are better than
unfortunate.
the 8KX was. These are better than the 8KX was during the development process, and the tooling and all the pieces are pretty far along. So, but and remember, a lot of it is from third parties. The Tobii eye tracking is from Tobii, the Qualcomm, the camera system, and all the tracking from Qualcomm. We have a lot of partners in this. With this new headset, our LCD panel and our LCD backlight, a lot of them have a lot of customization that we worked on with our partners, but they're actually doing the manufacturing for some of those pieces, and we're doing the integration. So this isn't the leap that it may seem,
Right. Right.
And,
so you mentioned that you have
yeah.
everything ready, the tooling and so on and so forth, and that Q4 is still a go. What I'm wondering though, what kind of quantities are we looking at? Like probably lots of people will want it. Like
immer noch
especially
Quartal
if
4
the
wird
first
hier
actual tests are well. If I look through it and I like it, and other people of course.
Jetzt sagt er, wie viele
Will you
Geräte
be
werden
able
denn
to satisfy demand, or
wirklich
is it
zum
only
Start
going to be
verfügbar
like a
sein?
few 10, 20,
Glaubt PIMAX,
100,
dass sie wirklich
like we saw with the very first
den
8K models,
Ansturm,
or
nicht
is
den
it something
Ansturm,
that
die Leute, die
thousands?
bestellen
Okay, so
wollen, wirklich befriedigen können hier mit dem
thousands.
Gerät.
Okay. That sounds good. I
Tausende
like the ring
Geräte
of it.
sollen da sein.
So basically,
ja, toll. Das sagt
people who
Yes.
want it will get it.
Yeah, it'll be.
Laut PIMAX
We have
sollen das genug
like
sein,
I
um alles
say,
zu
a lot of
beliefern.
infrastructure now. I remember when I started at PIMAX, we only had a small number of employees when I first started.
Sie sagen, sie haben
and
jetzt
now our
mittlerweile ein
business
größeres
offices
Business einfach.
alone have a couple hundred people.
Yeah.
And then you have all the factory and all the contractors, and there's a lot of people involved in this company now. And
Okay, got it.
we have 3 plants, numerous production lines, and we have tooling and testing and kinds of automated testing for all the hardware that's coming down the line when it's being manufactured, and it's all evolved over the years. And so we're in a different place as a company goes than we were. People can get an 8KX today anytime they want. You can buy on Amazon or
Kevin hat ein bisschen
in
Verbindungsprobleme
high
gerade.
quantity. They've been available
Diesmal sitzt nicht
for a year
wir.
and a half. So we're quite capable
Right.
of this. And the 5K Super and all of our are built in pretty large quantity. So and some of the pieces that we're working with Qualcomm on and Tobii and all that. Qualcomm is a manufacturing giant, and as far as these kinds of things, and so is Tobii, and they're all this is not their first.
Okay, laut Kevin ist es so, dass eben die Hersteller, die viele Komponenten für die 12K QLED bauen oder liefern, dass die liefern können ohne Ende, sozusagen.
Okay, good.
Ja?
Thanks for the answer.
Also das ist nicht das Problem.
Yep.
I received another question from the German stream. They are asking about the trade-in. We want the details, obviously, since we're German. Yep. Are you back?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, they want to know about who's going to pay for the shipping. Is it going to be like, okay, you will give them some kind of code and then they just pop it onto the package and go to the post office, or they have to pay it first, the shipping?
It'll calculate the shipping when you go to the website to do the trade-in. The customer pays the shipping, and it'll figure that out when you do the cart, when you get the email.
Okay.
However, there is good news when it comes to the shipping, and that is because we have depots this time, and we have regional depots.
Right.
We have depots. We have 2 in the United States. We got some in Europe. We have 1 in the UK. We got 1 in France. We got 1 in Poland. We got depots now, so you don't have to ship to China. You only have to ship locally to your region.
Okay,
So
also
your
das
shipping will only be for
Trade-in-Programm
that.
ist es so,
You
dass
won't
man das
have
Gerät nicht nach China
so you
senden
have to
muss,
do shipping
sondern auf
labels
eigene
with
Kosten
customs and all
eben
that to send your
beispielsweise
stuff
nach
to China.
Polen
You
oder
you'll
nach
ship.
England, sagten sie jetzt gerade, ja.
It'll be local ship.
Das finde ich
And then your
fair, dass man das selber
return
bezahlen
device
muss.
should also be
Also
local. So it'll be
die geben
you'll
uns,
get
also
the 12K will
alles
come
zwar
from a
noch
local depot.
wirklich steht in
Ah,
den
okay.
Sternen,
So
aber
it's not
And that
going
will
to
be
come
die
from
geben uns ja
China.
schon wirklich sehr viel, ne? Also
Alright, cool,
Correct.
cool.
ja,
We're
coole
gonna try
Sache.
to avoid that. Yeah.
Great.
Der Plan ist eine coole
Next
Sache. Ne?
question is, are there going to be cheaper 12K units? Because you said like this is a whole new platform, right? It's the PIMAX reality platform, and
It's
I
a
did
series.
receive
It's the
it's a
reality
series.
series, the P3.
It's the reality series, exactly.
series.
So lots of people are
Right.
actually
So what we
excited
used to
about it.
call. So for example, we used to the AKX and before all the way to the 5K plus is internally it's the P2 series. They call them the P2, and it says it on the serial number. If you look at the sticker on your headset, you'll see P2. All of those are the same series, even though they're AKX is a much, as you've noticed yourself in your own testing, it's far cry from what the original 5K plus was back in 2018. Everything from the comfort kit to the speakers and a million other things are all new. But you evolve from a base platform for the P2 all the way to the 8KX, which is essentially the ultimate P2. This is the P3. And so the P3 platform is going to have multiple headsets this year.
All right,
So-
multiple headsets this year.
Oh,
This is
dieses Jahr
interesting.
wird es
For all the
mehrere
people who
Modelle
are, like,
geben
watching
der
the stream
Reality
and who are
Series.
out
Dieses
there
Jahr
for the
sogar noch.
scoops, multiple headsets this year. And
Okay.
well, so this is the flagship model now that we're looking at, the 12K QLED, and
Yes.
well, the flagship
It's the
means it's the
king.
most it's the king, it's the most expensive one. So most probably that
Right.
means
Also die, wie
cheaper
ich schon gesagt
versions
habe,
of
die
this
12K QLED
are
ist das
coming up.
Flagship.
There'll be
you cannot-
there will be more than one headset, and they'll have the features that they have will be commensurate, with the price. So you can
Yeah.
imagine that that for the most part the features will be some subset of the 12K.
Yeah, because not
So-
everyone needs that 12K resolution, in my opinion, right? And not everybody, but it will be able to drive that anyways. Okay, cool. That is cool. You can
Yeah,
probably not
it's,
tell us more
we're-
about those cheaper versions, right?
Again, we're going to have that is people were asking, hey, when we were doing the previous shows, like after CES, we were supposed to do some things. The team was really adamant about announcing,
Spricht immer über die CS.
having a companion announcement that was supposed to go with this discussion, and some of the things you wanted to do, and they wanted to announce it together, and that was kind of the big piece, and and so that companion announcement is the announcement that's not ready yet.
Okay.
So
But it's going to happen soon sometime.
that one's
Es ist noch nicht so weit, über die
yeah,
anderen
it will.
Geräte zu sprechen.
I don't know exactly the day, but it'll be soon for sure.
Okay.
It's something we've been working on for months
Right.
to develop all of the, all the things that go with it, through the lens, graphics, and all kinds
Right.
of cool stuff that we've been
Nice.
working on. That's what Martin's working on. That's what he does.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, looking forward to that.
We also have
the
Josh,
series.
who's also working for the work is new for the company. Josh, who did PIMAX Frontier, he was our announcer. So
Oh yeah, I can remember.
you'll see him, and he'll be back.
Cool. Looking forward to that.
He works full time for PIMAX, so.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that was interesting to know. So there are going to be cheaper versions of the series, and they are going to happen in this year, and we are going to hear more from them soon. That's a cool thing to get from this stream as well. Perfect. Talking about
there'll
price.
It's a series, and we're really
Yeah.
excited about all the pieces to the puzzle for this new series.
Yeah, right. Okay, talking about the price. Somebody in chat said, okay, it's starting from 2,400. So what is in that 2,400? You get
Right.
the device, obviously. You get the controllers. It's inside-out tracked.
Get
You
the charger.
one battery, the charger.
Battery,
Yeah.
and two
Okay.
controllers,
Okay. Cool. So
and the headset.
The
Ja, nochmal
2,400
Lieferumfang.
is
Right.
excluding taxes. It's still taxes will have to
Right.
be paid. Okay.
And then on top of that, you would have the Wigig if you want.
Right. How about the modules? Could you tell us some prices?
Wigig
You
natürlich nicht
get,
dabei.
you get all
Macht
the
Sinn.
you don't get the body tracking. You don't get the body tracking one.
Right.
You know, and the body tracking one connects to this port here on the bottom, right here.
Ja, Full Body Tracking haben wir schon gehört. Soll es nicht geben.
How
And,
how expensive
Start.
will the Wigig module be?
We haven't announced a price yet on that. I don't know.
Preis
what the
fürs
ultimate price will be,
Wigig-Modul gibt es
but
noch nicht.
our goal is to offer that for all the headsets that we produce. In addition to the Wi-Fi, we want them to be able to have the Wigig compatibility too. So we want to keep the price low on the Wigig module. So our hope is to make it reasonable.
Okay, so
So-
the Wigig module
but
will be
can't announce
compatible
an
also
actual
with the
price.
8KX.
No,
Okay,
Okay,
just this
Wigig
just
Modul
this
the
series.
Wigig is not compatible with
Wird
AKX.
nicht mit der AKX
There's
funktionieren.
electronics in the 12K
Okay.
needed for the that was the whole thing about the AKX. It was the problem with Wi-Fi or just wireless in general. Was that when they were working on that engineering, that they found that there were parts that really needed to be on the main board, for it to work.
Got it.
And but never say never
Okay.
on that.
Okay. Let's go to the
Yeah.
next part of questions. And the next part of questions, they deal with the lenses. And could you again,
Dann kommen wir
please
zum
show us the lenses,
Topic
just as if we were at
der
CES?
Linsen.
And I would look at the lenses like very closely. So please take it up and show us the lenses. Can you get a bit closer? Oh, damn. Yeah,
Ich
it's a
lade
live,
zwar nicht
it's a
so
live
laut.
stream.
Das ist
It's a live
unangenehm, wenn einem
Yeah, it
sowas
is, but that's
passiert.
okay.
It's okay, yeah.
Also,
It's not made for that.
da bitte ich auch um Verständnis jetzt. Das
Can you
Losgefühl.
put it a bit closer?
Okay.
We cannot see it very clearly now. A bit closer to the
Hold on.
camera. Yeah.
Can't really get close to the camera.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yep. Yeah. This is good. This is good.
Ah ja,
Okay.
da sehen wir die Linsen.
Oh,
ja.
one thing else you can see. I don't know if you can see it here. Right here is the sensor. That's the mouth tracking sensor.
Okay, Sie haben schon
You
den
know what? Actually, when I just
Mund-Tracking-Sensor
saw it, it somehow reminded me of the lenses of the Star VR1. I don't know. It's just like it made
Yeah.
it made me remember the Star VR1. So just how they looked. So that is interesting because I did like the Star VR1. There was really I couldn't see distortions. Oh, now I'm gone. Yeah, that's my camera, but that's okay. You know how I look like. Let me turn. So about
let's
the
see.
lenses, but now it did look like a Fresnel lens. It did not look like this kind of bionic thing where in the middle it's like a clear lens, right? Like when we just saw it, it looked like the whole thing is Fresnel.
The center is is a spheric and the edges
Okay.
are Fresnel.
Okay.
One thing about this strap, by the way, let's
Okay.
talk about the strap just a little bit,
Yeah.
just for fun. This strap has been replaced multiple times because it has the magnet in it.
Ah, right. Okay.
It has a magnet that's integrated into the strap, and
Okay,
the
möchte
very
jetzt
first
kurz
ones that we had
rechtfertigen, warum
didn't
es
have the
abgegangen
magnet.
ist.
So when you would plug the Wigig module here, it would just kind of flop around. So we replaced this piece with the one with the magnet in it, so the magnet is built in right here.
Also die haben das
See
mehrmals
how it's
ausgetauscht
rigid right there.
wegen des
magnet
Magnets. Da ist
inside
nämlich das
there.
Wigig-Modul dran.
So
Und
you can see
deswegen
it actually.
ist das
see it.
alles da locker. Ist ein Vorseremodell.
It's got a magnet.
Also
inside
wie
the
gesagt, ist eine
plastic,
Dosensituation, wenn
inside
einem
the
sowas
rubber.
passiert.
And so this is not the final version.
Da
of that.
sollten wir jetzt bitte
And it
nicht
also has
drüber
a
lachen.
second magnet back here, right there.
Hinten gibt es auch noch
For
Magnet.
what is the back part?
Warum?
We have other pieces that can potentially connect later on, and we wanted to have a magnet in the back.
Okay, Sie
for
wollen
those
schon
two.
mal hinten auch eine
That way
Batterie am Strap,
you can
am
use it for
oberen,
things like if you have cable,
vorbereiten
you can
für
put
ja,
it
spätere Projekte, die Sie
in
noch vorhaben.
adapter
Ja, aber
that
ist
lets
ja
it
ganz
connect
nett.
with
Kann man
what's
vielleicht noch
on.
irgendwas dran machen.
But we had a lot of ideas, so we've got two. But that's the
Aber
thing that's been
gerade hat er
evolving
nochmal
some is
gesagt,
the
also dieses
the
Bionic
positioning
Lens-System
of
soll
the
tatsächlich einfach
of
nur
the
in der Mitte
magnets and
asphärisch sein und
Okay.
außen dann
some of
Let's
those.
get back, let's
Fresnel.
get back to
Obwohl wir
the
eben in den
lenses.
Bildern auch diese
Now, the
Fresnel-Ringe auch bei
question that
den
I would like to
asphärischen
ask
sehen.
you, some
Abwarten.
people have problems with the PIMAX lenses in general. Like they would say, okay, they somehow cannot really
Wichtig.
look through
Jetzt
them.
kommt das
They feel eye
Shield-Thema.
I
strain.
lost your audio.
Oh no.
Okay.
We're having some.
Yeah, but now are we back? I think now we're back, right? Check 1 2.
There
Live
you
stream?
are. There you
Okay.
are. Okay, I hear you now.
So some people report that they have problems looking through Pimax lenses. They say, okay, they develop some
Yeah.
eye strain after a while, and they feel there's a problem with the binocular overlap. And for some people, actually, it's impossible to use a Pimax headset. There's still a big difference between like putting on a Meta Quest or some other headset where they don't have any problems, but for Pimax headsets they say, okay, something is off
right.
with the optics.
Let's talk about that.
So did
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay, did you solve that problem with
So
the
number
Pimax
one,
12K?
the overlap. Well, there's multiple things about it. Number one, on a Pimax 8KX, the overlap is 86 degrees. For example, on most headsets, it's around high 80s, 90 degrees at the most is usually the overlap. This has 118 degrees overlap. It has a massive overlap compared to, that right there makes it very friendly on your eyes, and you can really tell. So that's number one. Number two, the Tobii eye tracking adjusts your IPD automatically. It actually analyzes it and you press the button on top, hold it down, and it'll set the
Wenn man
IPD.
höheren Overlap, sagen sie,
So you have an
das
IPD
soll
analysis.
Dann haben sie das Eye-Tracking. Das soll eben für gute IPD-Verstellungen helfen, die richtige. Aber das ist noch nicht das, was ich hören will. Aber er ist auch noch nicht fertig.
And the cool thing is another person can put it on, hold down the button, and it'll adjust for them. It's real quick. So you have that. It has a wider range of IPDs that it can work with as well. So you have it can go smaller and bigger than the 8KX. So it's about 15% smaller and bigger on both ends. So you have a wider range of people that can use it. Goes down to 55, IPD of 55 on the small end. And me, I'm 58, and it works great for me. So I can get it real clear, and it does adjust automatically. Another thing is the high contrast. The new panel has a very high contrast ratio, so you get that makes it feel much better too. And,
was
and
jetzt
you can
gerade
really
so
tell.
sagt,
And
scheint nicht so zu klingen,
mine
als ob
is
sie
not
das
even fully
Problem
activated for
identifiziert
that
haben, möglicherweise.
with the dimming backlight yet. Mine has more of a stand in the sample. Martin's has the dimming, but even mine has better contrast than an 8KX or any of my other headsets. So it's very nice. And so when you combine all of these things, you really do get a much more comfortable experience that's much more automatic and much less dependent on you adjusting colors and adjusting the IPD manually and trying to figure out how far your head needs to be from the lenses and all of that. You just don't need that with this. So
Eye Relief.
So the automatic
deren,
IPD adjustment, it's like
aus deren
motors
Sicht nicht
that really
nötig.
move the lenses.
The
and
overlap, the very large overlap that it has makes it so natural because it's almost, we're talking about an overlap that's like 35% wider than your average headset has. In fact, the aspheric piece it's 105 degrees of aspheric in this sample, and the other ones it may be different, but the aspheric piece of this one is pretty wide. It's wider than most, and so it's a pretty big chunk of your field of view is aspheric. So
okay.
The overlap, the entire overlap is inside the aspheric part of the lens. So It's
Okay.
very comfortable compared to other things. Night and day.
Okay,
Night
night and
Day,
day.
sagt
That
der
sounds good.
Unterschied.
So this aspheric part and the Fresnel part, I got lots of
Aber
questions
ehrlicherweise,
asking, can you
selbst wenn
see
er sagt, es ist
that
gelöst,
part
glaube ich
going
trotzdem erst,
from
wenn ich sehe.
aspheric to
Also
Fresnel?
wartet
Is
auf
it like a
das
visible
Review.
frontier basically that you can see?
Ja,
How
kann
is
nur
it?
hoffen.
It's like looking for the Fresnel in the PIMAX now. You know, you can see it, but only if you really. I have a hard time seeing the bands when I'm looking. But is it impossible? No.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see it just like you can see Fresnel in any other headset.
Okay, but
In the transition.
I think the people wanted to know about this
It's
border.
no more obvious.
Mhm.
I'll say this: it's no more obvious than it is in any headset.
Okay. Okay, good to know. Now, of course, we're interested about the distortions. Now, in the Frontier event, well, you proclaimed that distortions are gone. Would you stand by that? And would you stand by that for the largest FOV? Because that is, in my opinion, still a problem of the 8KX, for example. I do agree that it's way better, and that's
You know
what I
what
said
the
in my last
difference
video.
is?
Yep.
For me, the difference is the edges on this are so much they're further out into the
Die Frage ist jetzt, was ist mit den
further
Distortions?
away
Sie
from the
sagten ja, es
center
soll
it
keine
is, the
Distortions
harder
mehr
it is to
haben.
even see, and and so it's difficult to even see the edges so far
Sagen,
back.
wenn da welche sind, dann sieht man sie nicht, weil das FOV
So it's
geht
hard to
hinter den
say
Kopf.
what you're seeing is
Ja, super.
but if you just look forward and then you look one way or the other directly, try to look at the edge. It's hard to see the edge on this thing, even when you rotate your eyes and you look, one way or another.
Okay.
Mhm. That's where Toby comes in, and Toby with their optimization for the lens and the dynamic distortion profile that they have, and we've been working one with them, in a partnership. That's what that's all about. So that whole partnership revolves around the lenses and the distortion profiles and that aspect of it. But again, it is it's wider. So those
Also,
edges are
ich
not
muss
even in
sagen,
your view.
mittlerweile ist das mit den Distortions
at
echt
all.
gut.
So probably there might be
Ich
some
glaube, das
distortions.
ist wirklich
It's
kein
just so
Problem.
far
Aber
away.
dass man vielleicht gar nicht
See
durchgucken
any.
kann, das sehe ich immer
But
noch
then
als,
again,
als Gefahr.
it's I guess that's subjective, but
Yeah, of course it is. Okay. So, but
But
how
I'd say-
could you make it so that the FOV is even wider? Because there must be some kind of like there must be some restrictions physically. Like obviously you also try to max it out on the 8KX already, the field of view.
Right.
So how is it that now it's even more? How can you achieve that? The
Well,
displays
remember,
are
we
still
did the
canted.
the AKX, the original lens design and the canted displays and all that we're back from 2017. You're talking 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So, so the team has been for the next generation headset has been working on bigger, better lenses the entire time almost. So I've seen many samples of wider lenses with over the years, that I've been with PIMAX, and that's an area that we focused on early, and but we've been working on the distortion profiles on the AKX and other headsets that we make over the years, and people can see the differences there too. I think even you said that you saw improvements there over the years. So
I did a lot. It's a big difference than before.
I think we've come a long way with that, and I think
Okay.
most people would agree that we've come a long way. Imagine how far we can come when we start in a better place.
Ja, also
In other words, we start
tatsächlich
that has a spheric
muss ich
elements
sagen,
and
das mit
the
Distortions
Toby
ist
eye
richtig
tracking
gut.
speed data for that
Ja,
distortion
wollte mich ja
profile
auch mal
based on the
ein
shape
bisschen
of your
größer
eye.
zeigen.
We're-
Denn
we're starting in a much better place.
ja,
And remember, the edges of it are much further around the
letztlich
side.
haben wir das eine oder andere
And
Detail
another
bis
thing
jetzt
I
schon
didn't mention,
erfahren,
the
was wir noch
vertical
nicht kannten
FOV
und
on this thing
wussten.
is phenomenal.
Aber es ist natürlich jetzt immer noch viel, was wir schon kannten. Und ich bin jetzt gespannt, ob wir gleich auch die Neuigkeiten hören, die wir noch nicht kennen, die Kevin Henderson ja angesprochen hat. Weil genau das ist ja etwas, was wir wissen möchten. Neue Sachen, die exklusiv für MRTV. Und natürlich wollen wir auch eine Zukunftsaussicht haben. Ja? Wir wollen wirklich Zeichen jetzt in den nächsten Monaten haben, dass das Gerät wirklich rauskommt bald.
And for the Star VR1, also, there was like this huge FOV, which was like 220 diagonal or something. And yeah,
It is possible.
It's possible. I saw it with my own eyes in that Star VR1. And those lenses they remind me so much of these lenses. And there was actually really no distortions for the Star VR1. So I do believe that's possible. And I can't wait to see something like the Star VR1, but with a high resolution.
An early implementation. I would say they had an early implementation of a very similar setup.
Okay, cool.
Cool. On the Star VR1. And this is
ja, Sebastian spricht darüber, dass er die Star VR1 ja auch gesehen hat. Und da hat man das große FOV ohne Distortions. Deswegen glaubt er schon daran, dass es technisch möglich ist. Und ja, Kevin sagte eben, es ist auch dort sehr ähnlich implementiert worden, nur mit einem besseren Panel jetzt.
And we have some features aspect of it that we'll be hitting on one of these days. So
okay. Looking forward
I think people will love it.
So I suppose this headset does not have eye relief, as in being able to put the lenses further away from your eyes if you wear glasses?
Mine does not, but that is something that we're going to add, I think, before it was released.
Eye Relief gerade noch nicht da. Sie wollen es aber einführen.
Confirmed.
Cool.
Well, again, it's one of those things that it is in the. If you look at the official specifications that were announced, we do have adjustable eye relief in the list.
How would it work?
It's what I'm told is that the faceplate, which is essentially what we call the comfort kit on the 8K, that's where you adjust the relief. But where it's adjustable in that piece where you can move it in and out. But on the AKX, the only way you can adjust the eye relief is with the thickness of the foam.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And that's not, and that needs to be so. My understanding is it's in the comfort kit piece.
Yeah, that would be good. Lots of people like eye relief in order to get even closer to the lenses, or if they wear glasses.
It works with my glasses. I can put it on with my glasses now.
Für Brillenträger ganz wichtig. Das ist eine wichtige Information. Er sagt, die Information gab es schon. Würde ich gar nicht sagen. Eye Relief bedeutet, dass man eben den vertikalen Abstand oder den, wie auch immer man es jetzt sieht, den Abstand zwischen Auge und Linse verändert und nicht zwischen Linse und Linse. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
But like I say, we've made this really easy. The before with the comfort kit, you had to literally pry the comfort kit out. It was held on by friction, and on the AKX, you've got to really move it around to get it out of there. And on the 12K, it's held on with magnets. So it's real easy to change that piece out. Mm-hmm. You can just pop it out in 2 seconds and change and put a different one in.
Right.
So it's much better.
Okay, that is such an important piece of information that it's so easy to change because for the G2, because the first face gasket was not made for everyone. People were too far away from the lenses and then they had problems with, sweet spot and stuff. So it's important to think about that all the faces are different, right? So that is a good thing. That is something that you think about. Sweet spot is no problem.
Sweet spot on this is not a problem. This has the biggest sweet spot of any headset ever made. Mm-hmm. Easy.
I like it. Okay. So. And how about the edge-to-edge clarity? If you use your eyes to look like to the left and the right, is it like everything is still clear, or is it degrading towards the edges? Probably it is, because Fresnel, normally you have these problems, right?
Like I was saying before, the edges are so far away.
Yeah, okay.
That they're so far in the
Edge Clarity soll sehr gut sein, sagt er.
On the 8K,
ähnlich wie der Sweet Spot.
Significantly distant. But that said,
was soll man da antworten?
we're working with
Aber ja,
Toby on
durchaus
edge-to-edge
möglich.
clarity, and it's got an improved lens design. We've been improving for 5 years the distortion profiles and gotten good at it. Now we have better hardware to work with on both the lenses, on the data we get from the eye tracking. Every headset that we make on the 12K has eye tracking and real-time distortion correction based on that. So that's something we didn't have with the 8KX. We had to make generic profiles. Now we don't. They're dynamic profiles.
That is a piece of information that is huge. That is a huge piece of information
Will
here.
ich sagen,
So
dass sie eben
based
das
on
Distortion Profile
based on eye
wirklich
tracking, you will have
dynamisch
dynamic.
ändern, je nachdem da, wo meine Augen sind.
Okay, so dynamic distortion correction based on eye tracking, confirmed.
Right. The eye tracking features like foveated transport, and which is one of the ways we get the high refresh rate capability. It actually can transmit a lot more data across the cable, and a lot more data across wireless than is normally available. We have a lot of techniques that we use that are internal that reduce the data flow, the actual data flow coming across Wi-Fi and coming across the cable. So we have a lot of things in play that give you higher refresh rates and higher resolution, and so I think you combine that with the new lenses and eye tracking, and you really get a package that's visually impressive.
So the dynamic.
Ich frage jetzt gerade, ob die dynamische,
we get some messages also from the German stream, and does the dynamic distortion profile work without having to change the apps in the game? So that's basically on a driver level, it will just work?
Yeah, it's most of the functionality of it is on the foveated transport is driver level. Now, what you're asking, what I think you're asking though is a different question, and that would be, is the DFR driver level?
This we'll get to that in a moment as well. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so FT is driver level, which is a different thing,
Yeah, right.
And then DFR can potentially be driver level.
Yeah, we're going to get to this in a moment when we talk about the displays.
Ja, also Forward Rendering ist nicht Driver-Level, kann aber später so sein. Aber dieses dynamische Distortion Profile funktioniert wohl immer.
So FT is driver level, distortion correction is driver level, and DFR, that's some things we're working on.
Okay. Great. So that's about the lenses. Very exciting. Now let's talk about the panels. Lots of questions about the panels. Will the panels support high dynamic range?
It does. It uses an algorithm to calculate HDR. It's an algorithm that we've been partner on.
Okay, cool.
So you enable that in the driver.
Right.
In the new version of PyTool.
ADR soll unterstützt werden.
How many nits does the 12K have? Like how bright it is?
Nicht für.
That's really important to understand.
Ja, auch die Helligkeit der Panels, die bringt nichts, die zu erfahren, weil wir keine Referenzwerte haben, keine Vergleichswerte. Wir brauchen jetzt nicht sagen, wir brauchen 1000 Nits, das wäre viel zu hell, das ist direkt vor unserem Auge. Deswegen ist es tatsächlich völlig irrelevant. Man muss es wirklich in einem A-B-Test mit anderen Headsets einfach vergleichen. Wenn wir Tools hätten, um das zu testen, ja, wie richtige Techniker irgendwie in irgendeinem Labor, das wäre natürlich cool, dann könnten wir was mit der Zahl anfangen. Aber wir haben das eben nicht. Wir sind angewiesen auf die Angaben der Hersteller und eben auf unsere Wahrnehmung. Und ja, da müssen wir einfach schauen. Aber sie soll wohl heller als die 8KX sein, die aber schon eigentlich ein sehr dunkles Bild hat tatsächlich.
Good. So yeah, it makes sense that you're still working on that part, so that you cannot give any kind of final
but it's going to be.
That makes sense.
That's going to be one of those things that, All right. It's going to take. We won't know exactly until the Q4.
Okay. Yeah. So people are now excited about understanding more about the resolution. Let's say we're using that device now, cabled to your PC, and we want to use we want to use it in 100% Steam VR super sampling. So what is the render resolution for that kind of we want to have it as native as possible?
They don't want me to. Yeah, they don't want me to get into that, but it is roughly 6K per eye.
Okay, but they don't want you to go into detail with that question.
Right.
Okay, then.
Okay, er darf nichts über die
I
Renderauflösung
can answer
sagen.
why that is, I think.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Er darf nicht sagen, wie hoch die Steam VR
The
Renderauflösung
native
ist.
resolution is changing a bit from sample to sample and from firmware to firmware because of the techniques that we're using to reduce the data coming across the cable with foveated transport and with all the techniques, DSC and all the techniques, we're changing so it's moving around so all the time. And
Der Grund ist wohl, dass eben dadurch, dass die Bandbreite limitiert ist, sich diese Zahl immer ändert. Sie benutzen eben FTA nennen sie es, Foveated Transport, also immer nur da, wo ich hingucke, werden die Daten übertragen und woanders nicht. Ja. Sehr komplexe Tests an. Das ist nicht gut.
Correct. So at the widest field of view with the highest resolution, it's not 200 hertz, and it probably
how much is it?
You get the high refresh rate, you'll reduce the field of view and you'll reduce the resolution.
Right. So what are we talking about?
You would I mean, right now, I haven't seen I don't have any way of doing the refresh that high, even in a test. They say they can in the lab, but and we want to do we're in a future demo. We want to do some demos of it refreshing like that.
Frage,
bei
der höchsten
I've been
Auflösung
told
und dem höchsten FOV, wo ist die Refresh Rate?
Reduce the resolution and the FOV to get
Kann er uns nicht verraten.
To get to 200.
Yeah, to get to 200.
Yeah. Yeah, that is, that is
it
just one part.
It doesn't do
part
it
of the marketing.
Yeah,
that is one part of the marketing that I don't like. Like why would you put it out there? Like, wow, this is 200 hertz. The others can only do 120 or something, right? When actually, it's not going to be 200 hertz.
If you think about it, if it does. But if you think about it, if it does 200 hertz at an FOV significantly higher than any other headset, and resolution significantly higher than any other headset, it's still a good thing.
Yeah, but you know what? But from the presentation,
do it at the maximum that this one can do.
Right. But from the presentation, we think now it is
a
headset that looks something like as clear as the Arrow, but with a huge FOV, and you got that 200 hertz like
you gotta keep in mind
smashed into our faces, right? So that's why I think like don't overpromise.
I would add, but you want to keep in mind that remember with the 5K Plus, we originally announced that the 5K Plus would be 90 hertz, and then a year later we had it was 110. And then we did another firmware update, it was 120, and then we got up to 144. So even if you had an old headset, you could go 144 in many cases.
Yeah.
So,
but the thing is,
that's going to be a similar.
Okay.
In my opinion, we'll just. It's got capabilities that are way beyond any headset that we've produced before. So.
Okay, also Sebastian kritisiert jetzt hier an dieser Stelle, dass sie eben groß mit den 200 Hertz beworben haben. Ehrlicherweise haben sie aber, wenn es auch nur klein war, bei dieser Werbung auch dran geschrieben, dass sie das nicht mit der höchsten Auflösung und dem höchsten FOV erreichen. Und deswegen sagt Kevin Henderson hier auch zu Recht, es wird aber immer noch eine höhere Auflösung und ein höheres FOV haben als alle anderen Headsets bei 200 Hertz. Aber er kann eben nichts dazu sagen, bei welchen Werten. Und wir können natürlich auch nicht zu sagen, ob es wirklich so ist.
Is that something that you can achieve? Like getting close to the native resolution and
it's full.
Okay, good.
And that's all you can do. Yeah, no, that's all fine.
Okay.
90 Hertz bei größter FOV und größter Auflösung. Ja. Das ist sehr wichtig. Aber das ist alles komprimiert in irgendeiner Form. Alles irgendwo gerechnet. Und ich kann mir einfach nicht vorstellen, ich habe nicht das Vertrauen, dass das von Tag 1 und ich hoffe auch nicht erst Tag 365 funktioniert. Wow.
All right. Yeah, for Beat Saber, I don't really need that 200 FOV. But anyways,
pretty glorious. I haven't run it that high, but I've run it at 160.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you know
It
what?
does work.
For me, I'm happy to know that 90 hertz with a native kind of resolution is a go. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't like the 8KX with that 75 hertz that I had. It was not nice for me. Like I would prefer other headsets, but if this can give
What's
me
nice,
90 hertz, I'm
all
kind
these
of
new
happy.
things for the AKX lately, like FSR, FSR toolkit. There's so many, and like Guppy Express has the parallel projections modification where you can remove parallel projection requirement for a lot of things.
Mhm.
There's so
Yeah.
many tools out there to do this stuff, and with a lot less requirement on your video card, it's impressive.
Okay.
And there's a lot more running room with the 12K, so
Right.
for that kind of thing, and it's going to build on what we've done before, and it does.
Okay. So,
So
of
Ja.
course, now we
Er
want to
sagt gerade ein
know,
bisschen was
wow, this
darüber,
crazy resolution in our
dass
standard right now,
ja,
like
die alle
60
Technologie,
Ti,
die sie bisher
and
eben
you're trying to
angesammelt
get more
haben,
and
jetzt
more
hier einsetzen.
hertz through the cable. What kind of cable is it? what kind
Jetzt
of
geht's ums
what kind of
Kabel.
connection
Was ist
do
das
you
für ein
need on the
Kabel?
GPU? Is it something like DisplayPort 2.0? Is it two
yeah, this uses
DisplayPorts
DP. This
1.4?
one, this sample uses DisplayPort 1.4s.
Okay, but what
DisplayPort
about the device that
1.4.
people will get? Are you looking at DisplayPort
Das kann ja nur
2.0?
mit
Is it a
DSC
requirement, or
sein,
is it
Display
like
Stream
It is
you'll be
Compression.
backwards
fine with?
compatible. So, but in theory, you could do that. But these current samples are DisplayPort 1.4. And
Okay,
on
like
the
one
Wigig,
DisplayPort 1.4.
yep, on this
Okay,
one. But
yeah.
on some of them, some of the samples have two.
Okay, so what do you
So
think? Will the final one have? That's what interests us.
I'm told that we do have some single cable solution versions. That's the
Ziel ist
the
es,
actual interface
ein
is something that's
DisplayPort
evolving.
1.4 Anschluss haben, auch wenn
So
es gerade Samples gibt mit 2.
there's a potential. You got to keep in mind when you make these choices. It's more than just being able to do it. It's also availability of the chipsets to do it with in enough quantity that we can produce it. So the debate isn't whether or not we can do it. The debate is whether or not we can do it and manufacture it in volume. We know that we can do it with two DisplayPort 1.4s, and we know that we can do it. We can do things with the Wigig, and and wirelessly with using our base station, which we showed you earlier.
Right.
But will we have even a third port on there? In addition to the other two, where it's a single cable, or will it just be one? That's up for the final interface that it has is something that's being determined. But
Okay.
that's not a
Okay, jetzt
none of
ist
those
noch
things
nicht
are
bekannt,
showstoppers really.
was für Kabel da noch
How it's active
rauskommen.
development.
Aber DisplayPort 1.4 ist jetzt bestätigt.
How about motion reprojection? Is it something that's going to be there on day one?
Yes. Yeah. It has motion projection. It has it works similarly to an 8KX when it comes to that kind of thing.
Okay, so this is not done by Steam. This is done by PyTool.
Right.
Okay. How good does the picture look like? It's a very simple question, but I simply want to know. So I know how an 8KX looks like, and
Objective
yeah, like how compare it, like
colors. The first thing you notice are the
Yeah.
colors. So when you
Better.
try, the first thing you notice are the colors are much richer, and the contrast is
Okay, Kontrast,
Is much
Farben besser
higher.
als bei der 8KX.
Hey, that's good
auch
to
nicht
hear. I think
schwer.
that's a weakness of the 8KX.
the versions that I had, the ones that we had at the samples we had at CES had one of them had the dimming backlight, and that one had really dark blacks. And you notice that right away. The colors are much more accurate. It's if you were to say, hey, make a cross between an LCD and an OLED, it's kind of like that. is kind of the way to think about it. But it's since it's a QLED, it can have a very high refresh, and with
Okay.
none of the OLED problems. And OLED is a enigma wrapped in a question when you get it to operate at a high refresh. I mean, Sony supposedly has solved the high refresh problems with R2.
Yeah.
But again, getting that kind of panel in high quantity, there's a lot of very low quantity panels where you can buy like 50 of them or 100 of them that are high tech, very high tech. But if you're going to try to sell in the thousands, it's very, very difficult. And so what we have to do is build things in the thousands.
Kevin erzählt uns, dass es noch viel weiterentwickelte oder noch viel high-techigere Panels gibt da draußen. Aber man muss immer das Ganze skalieren eben auf so eine Produktionsgröße von mehreren tausend. Und da sind dann nicht mehr so viele erhältlich. Und das ist eben die Challenge. Also hier ein paar Insights, wie man so eine Entscheidung trifft, was man einbaut.
And VR2. So for them, it's going to be challenging to ramp up those to have a real yield, and I imagine they will. They're excellent at it. They have an army, But but smaller companies, though, trying to get high yield out of some of these things is a much harder thing. So I imagine they're going to struggle with that, So,
but PIMAX not.
Can't hear anything. It went silent.
Yeah, I was wondering, so you said companies are going to struggle with that. And my question was, but PIMAX is not going to struggle with getting quantity for these panels?
Well, that's the beauty of PIMAX, actually, that I've found, is that if you're Apple or Sony, you need 1 million of something, or Oculus or Meta, rather. You can't go in and buy a new panel. You need millions of panels. You need 1 million panels a month. You've got to have these really incredibly high quantity. And, we need 25,000 panels or 15, 20, less than 50,000 panels for each run.
Okay.
And it's a different, we're big enough that they want to deal with us because they can, the yield.
Okay, das sind coole Insights. Also macht Sinn, was er sagt. Das ist natürlich die Frage, wie kommt er an diese ganzen Sachen ran, an diese Bauteile, wie die Panels, wenn da so größere Unternehmen sind. Und er sagte, eigentlich ist es auch ein Vorteil, kein großes Unternehmen wie Apple zu sein. Wir brauchen auch nicht so viel wie diese. Und trotzdem sind sie groß genug als Unternehmen, dass die Leute, die Firmen mit denen zusammenarbeiten möchten. Ja, also genau die richtige Skalierung hier bei PIMAX. Ja, und so sagen sie, so können wir eben so bis 50.000 mal eben bekommen. Und das ist vielleicht jetzt schon ein Versprecher, wo er uns verraten hat, was so die Quantity ist bei PIMAX. Ja? Wie viele Geräte haben sie wohl da draußen? Also, ich denke mal, unter 100.000, definitiv.
But million, that's a hard thing, and that's why Meta and Apple and Sony have a challenge, and a genuine one. These are the latest panels they want to use, and the yield in some of those is like, some of them it's like 1%, and 2% and stuff, and it's very difficult.
Right. Yeah, good that you are in this position that, you're not affected by this so much. So, talking about the colors, so you said they're better. How about the blacks? How good are the blacks? Are the blacks OLED black?
On the sample I had in Vegas, the blacks were excellent. And it had the
also das Sample, was er hier hat keine OLED-like Schwarzwerte. Aber es gibt eben das, was Reviver hat, das Gerät, das Vorserien-Modell, das hat schon diese LED-Innenrundbeleuchtung, diese Mini-LED-Innenrundbeleuchtung, und dort soll es eben schon besser sein, den Schwarzwert. Ja. Also darauf warten wir auch immer noch bei der Vario Aero.
Compared to LCD. So it can actually, it's the way it actually does the strobe does a much better job of dropping back to black. And so on the backlight. And it comes down to how fast the light falls off when you strobe.
Okay.
And
so how many backlight zones do you have with that panel? How many yeah, how good is the resolution of the backlight?
They'll
then?
get into the specific specs, but I can tell you it's certainly a breakthrough
Okay,
value there.
all right.
But I'll say I can't see the zones, even when we do
Okay.
the pixel peeping
Okay, cool.
on the
Yeah, that is
samples we
good
had.
then. That is good then. With
Because
that kind of
you can create demos where you can see the edges of the zones.
yeah.
And Martin and I were doing that to the edges, and so
Okay. Does this technology in VR have some problems with kind of like a shining effect that you can see
you mean like
that
God
backlight?
rays and things like that?
Yeah, God rays was more for the lenses, but also
You're,
this display technology, this kind of backlights. If you have a certain zone, the backlight going on, but then it's bigger than the actual pixels that you want to make brighter, you have this kind of
talking about the
shining
bleed.
around them.
The
The
fall
bleed,
off. You're talking about
exactly.
the fall off bleed.
Exactly.
That's one of the areas that they've improved. That is the main improvement that it has.
Okay, cool, great.
And
Good to know that.
so the
Sie
backlight
wollen
technology
ja
has come a
5000
long way.
Dimming Zones haben in
And,
der
You're going to see
Mini-LED-Beleuchtung,
not just with PIMAX,
was erstmal
but
gar nichts
with
aussagt.
other
Aber Sie sagen hier,
VR
das
headset
ist kein
manufacturers
Problem
where that
mit dem
problem is
Bleed,
reduced rather
mit
dramatically.
dem Blooming-Effekt.
Okay.
Also das
when you mix
Schwarz,
these new
da wo es
backlights
sein
with
soll,
with
ist dann
even with an old
tiefschwarz.
panel, like if
Da
you
bin
take
ich wirklich
one of the new
gespannt. Und
updated
auch bei
backlights with the
Vario.
original
Ja, ich
LCD
hoffe, Sie
panel, you
kommen da
still
bald mal
get
endlich mit dem
much better
Update.
contrast. Really
Yeah.
noticeable. You can take a
Und dann hat man natürlich
you
noch ein
can
bisschen
theoretically have an
Kontrast. Ne?
AKX with this new backlight, for example.
Okay.
You know,
So that was the part about the colors. Now let's talk about clarity. Like in my opinion right now, the king of clarity is the Vario Aero. Super nice visuals. You've probably also
Right.
looked through it. And
love what they've done.
really impressive.
I'm a
Really
fan.
impressive headset. Yeah, me too. So how would you compare the clarity of the PIMAX 12K QLED to that of
Too, by the way.
the Aero? What? Yeah, tell us.
I would say that it's on par with that, and it's especially on par with it in the center 135 degrees, and
Right.
and then as you go out, because of the way the rendering happens and the foveated transport, you get as you go out, it's less.
Yeah.
So the way it's done. So it's in that
Okay, also
in the center area, it's
Sebastian hat jetzt gefragt,
really impressive.
wie
And, I wish I
die
could
12K
talk more about
QLED
that, but we have some technology that we're going to be talking about that revolves around this sort of thing, and that we're going to announce in a rather quickly, I'd say.
Okay.
But yeah,
im
we have some
Vergleich
really
zu
exciting
Vario
things
Aero
related
ist
to,
in Sachen Klarheit.
clarity to
Und er
talk
sagt,
about.
es ist
Alright.
ähnlich.
And
Yeah.
Das heißt, ich
we
glaube
even
eher ein bisschen
provided a little
unschärfer,
hint in the
unklarer.
PIMAX Frontier with another
Und ja,
capabilities
vor
called
allem im
FRC,
Zentrum, je
the-
näher man oder je mehr man zum Außenrand hängt, natürlich wird es
but
weniger klar.
essentially it's a camera kind of like it's a projector that projects very high resolution right in the center of your view.
Yeah, that's
And we
actually
have
what I
some
wanted to talk
samples.
about next. Yeah, because in
Yeah,
exactly in
we
the
have
end
some
of
samples
the
that have that.
yeah, the fixed retina display, something that actually something that the Vario headsets also have, not the Aero but the others, the VR3 for example. And it was in your in the Frontier event at the very end. So is that still a thing? Is it going to happen for the base
Yeah,
model?
so that
or-
uses FRC, which is the retinal compression and the retinal display, which is a projector, and
yeah.
it has its own video stream, and it's basically a extremely high resolution.
Also Sie
Projector.
sprechen jetzt gerade darüber,
Right.
dass am
And,
Ende des
and
Frontier-Events über ein
and
Fixed Retina Display,
samples that I
was
saw
rein
that use
projiziert
their own
wird
cable,
ins Zentrum der Linse.
separate.
Ja, das ist immer noch etwas,
Right.
woran Sie arbeiten
But
oder
you cannot tell
denken.
us if this is going to be happening.
Jetzt wird gefragt, wird das kommen?
It will have that.
But it's
It's a
not the
matter
base
of
model.
when.
It's another model. It's the PIMAX 12K Pro.
Uh, I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, also
Um,
es kommt nicht in die
That's
QLED,
one of those things that
ist
you'd like to
Zukunftssache.
get in there. if you could,
Ehrlicherweise,
you know,
das finde ich auch bei
in
der
the base
VR3
model,
und
if you could,
XR3 nicht
but it may,
gut.
you know,
Man sieht den
there's
Übergang.
no
Ich
promises
möchte
that that'll.
nicht
Okay,
noch
so
verschiedene
I take
Displays
this as a
It
no,
im
but
Sichtbereich
probably
haben.
there's some more, room for other models down the road. Yeah, it would make sense, right?
Part of
It's
it hinges on how much data you can have, because you don't 3 cables.
yeah, 3 cables would be overkill without a doubt.
Which the
Right.
sample I saw that has that does.
Okay,
So-
got it.
So yeah, I mean, whether or not when we're constructing the final version, you know, in the next couple months, because we have to get this thing completed in the next, you know, the final tweaks, you know, in the next 60 days or so, and
Yeah.
in order to produce it. So, you know, you're going to see a lot from
Okay.
us in the next couple months.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. This stream already is super interesting. So
Okay.
yeah,
Er
that's
kündigt
cool.
an, dass in den
That's-
nächsten
that's
Monaten
really
We got a lot to
viel
show,
kommen wird.
a lot to say, and we
Tja.
want to step it up
Hoffentlich.
yeah.
on that aspect. So
Vor allem Live
there's a lot to
Impressions.
that,
Sie müssen das Gerät zur Verfügung
but
stellen.
technically, it's something that we have been able to make work. So, but making it work and getting it into a production product that you build in the thousands, you don't want to delay the whole headset over that.
Yeah, right. That makes sense.
So
That
Yeah.
makes absolute sense. That makes
Okay,
absolute
Sie
sense.
sagen, dass eben das
it all depends
Okay.
on how far we get in the next month or two.
Retina
Right, right.
Feature
So
ja
we-
nicht
we
alles
got some
auffallen soll,
fundamentals that
deswegen
need
ist das
to-
jetzt
that need
gerade
to
auch
be
kein Fokus.
100%. You
Yeah.
know, the wireless,
That makes sense.
the dimming backlight,
Right,
Genau.
right.
LED-hintere Beleuchtung, Wireless,
That makes
all
sense.
diese Sachen haben
So,
eben Priorität.
you
Und das ist auch
tracking.
okay.
Right. So we're looking at a headset that has great colors and clarity, like
Yeah.
close or like on par with the Arrow, but with a wider FOV. Sounds so good. I
Much
mean,
wider.
I'm an enthusiast,
Like
so it just sounds
ridiculously
like what I
wide.
want, obviously. Yeah.
The Vario's got, you know, it's super clear and the FOV is pretty small, you know, and but I
Yeah.
really, the clarity on it is just wonderful. It's actually pretty amazing, and their achievement
Er sagt,
is wonderful.
das, was Vario macht, ist wunderbar. Ja,
So
die
we
Klarheit
touched
ist
on
unübertroffen.
that, area before.
aber das
We're
FOV
talking
ist eben
about,
klein.
The
Ja, hat er
foveated
recht.
rendering, the dynamic foveated rendering that is based on eye tracking, and you already mentioned that it's going to work on the driver level. So it's nothing that has to be patched into the games. Is it going to
FT.
work?
FT works on the driver. It has to work on the driver level.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's the
So,
foveated transport that has to work. That's how you get all that data across.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you tell us the difference between foveated transport and foveated rendering?
Sure. Foveated transport reduces the actual data that is sent.
Mhm.
So it's a way of reducing data across the cable or across wireless. And it makes it now, and DFR changes the rendering profile.
Right.
So when you have a rendering profile, rendering profiles are where you reduce the load on the graphics card. Now, foveated transport has some effect on that too, but its main primary purpose is to reduce the actual amount of data that has to come across whatever your transport is.
Mhm.
So you have FT, and then you have to send. So for FT to work, you actually send back to the PC or what is, and if it's standalone, you're sending back to the XR2. If you're running on the PC, you send the request back to that, and it determines what to send in real time,
Mhm.
and thereby reduces the amount of data coming in. But DFR, which in Toby speak is called Spotlight, is a different thing. That reduces the amount of actual work the graphics card has to do in calculating textures and shadows and doing the rendering.
Also dieses Forwarded Transferring, FTA, das ist wirklich hauptsächlich nur eine Komprimierungsmethode. Jetzt weiß ich nur nicht, warum ist da Forwarded mit dem Namen. Hat das dann trotzdem was damit, so wo ich hingucke und so deswegen minimiert er vielleicht den Durchsatz? Oder ist es einfach wie DC, Display Stream Compression, eine Art Komprimierung? Forwarded und deswegen geht das natürlich überall. Forwarded Rendering, ich glaube DSA, der ist gerade genannt. Ist aber etwas, da müssen Anpassungen stattfinden, nach wie vor.
And will this work on day one, the dynamic forwarded rendering and the FT? Is it something that will just work with games without having to think much about it?
Yes.
Okay.
That you don't have to. There's no configuration for that at all.
Okay. And
all done
we don't need any special game patches. It's going to work on Microsoft Flight Simulator directly on day one.
You can run Microsoft Flight Simulator on any Steam compatible headset, pretty much, or any headset in general.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, does it work directly with this dynamic forwarded rendering?
It works with the foveated transport.
Ja.
And
Genau, gerade scheint da ein kleines Missverständnis zu sein. Nein, Forwarded Rendering, so wie wir es nennen, ich bleibe jetzt mal bei unserem Wording, wird nicht mit allen Anwendungen funktionieren und es gibt keinen Standard. Und das ist eben das große Problem. Deswegen, da die GPU-Last zu verringern, das wird eher Zukunftsmusik sein und eher nicht kommen. Aber natürlich muss die Komprimierung über einen DisplayPort 1.4 Anschluss bei der hohen Pixelanzahl immer stattfinden. Ja, und ich hoffe halt, dass das Bild nicht abgescaled aussieht, ja, dass es trotzdem knackscharf ist. Dass es überhaupt knackscharf ist.
Of course, that's what we hope for. Right.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's the goal.
Yeah, right.
And that's
right.
the goal.
Okay. So now we're getting to a part that many people are waiting for. And that part is, what kind of GPU do you actually need? What are the required specs? Can I run this beast of a VR headset with my 3080? I don't even have a 3090. Probably I would need it. Is it something that would work with, or is it actually really more like, okay, let's wait for the 40 series. Let's wait a couple of years until we can run this. Tell us what we need for this.
No, you don't need the actual requirements are very similar to the 8KX. So,
but how is that possible? Because so many more pixels need to be
because it's using
rendered.
foveated transport.
Okay.
You have the same amount of data coming across the DisplayPort 1.4 cable as you do on an 8KX anyway. So, and you can, as far as up to a certain refresh rate, you can run the full resolution and the full FOV over one cable, and that's because of foveated transport. Now, if you want to use other techniques with it, and like I say, there's a million techniques out there. You can remove the parallel projections from things. You can FSR. There's the OpenXR toolkit, and there's dozens of tools now that we didn't have before. So on top of all that, you have the Tobii Spotlight. So, I think that most people will not need a high-end video card.
Wow, that is good news.
Video card. I've been getting the same frame rates out of it as I do on the existing 8KX. So.
Wow. Okay, that is amazing news for everyone who's watching this right now. So
Subject
Kevin gets the same FPS like on the 8KX for this.
Subject to change because it's something they're changing.
Also das kann ich nicht glauben. Ja, ich übersetze jetzt mal ganz kurz. Also jetzt gerade der gesagt, dass die 12K QLED die gleichen Frames wie die 8KX bei viel besserer Bildqualität und FOV haben soll.
Could you explain to us again What would be the difference between foveated
Das hat mit
transport?
der
Is it
Komprimierung ja nichts zu
comparable
tun. Die
to
Grafikkarte muss ja
display
trotzdem
stream
berechnen.
compression? Why is the foveation important
Well,
for
that's another
that?
technique.
Yeah,
You have
exactly.
DSC, you have foveated transport, you have DFR, which is spotlight, and you have actually numerous other techniques too. And then that's before you even get into the software side on your PC,
Yeah.
and with the techniques. So
So it's just
and then of course you can also attenuate the refresh rate. So you can attenuate your base refresh rate if you run at 90 hertz, for example.
yeah.
You save some data there. But there are now dozens of ways to attenuate this, and we're in a better place now than we've ever been with regard to hitting high frame rates.
Okay.
People are hitting frame rates on the 8KX that we never even heard of a year ago in the same software.
So
So,
the eye tracking,
and
the eye
that'll-
tracking
and that'll
part is super
continue.
important for that to work, right? It has to have eye tracking for the
It is.
foveated transport.
Just know that this has all the tools that you had with the 8KX. It has all the tools that you had before with a bunch of new ones mixed in. So that include foveated transport and spotlight. So and actually some other things. So
Ja,
so
also
you have all the existing tools plus new ones.
ich habe Sebastian gerade die Frage gestellt, die hat
Before
jetzt
you even get into
weitergereicht
having video
eben.
cards, But
Okay.
Was
I
hatte,
think most
warum
people
steckt in den Namen
would be
Foveated
satisfied,
Transport denn
with
foveated?
a
Ist es
30
nicht einfach
series,
Display
even
Stream
a mid-range
Compression?
one
Hat
would
er
be
auch weitergeleitet, aber er hat es
But
jetzt nicht so
again,
richtig
it's not
erklärt.
like saying the bigger the better. A video card, you could have any headset in a
Also,
nicer video card and see some improvement.
das muss ich wirklich hier ganz deutlich anzweifeln, dass man nur weil, also er hat ja jetzt gerade gesagt, wir haben ja schon das Maximum des DisplayPort 1.4 ausgereizt. Also, wenn wir noch mehr Pixel durchhaben, dann kann ja die Frames nicht schlechter sein. Hä?
Right. So
Das hat ja gar nichts
that
damit zu
eye tracking
tun.
the eye tracking that's built in is so important, right, for this device because you couldn't do things like the foveated transport.
Eye tracking is very important for this device. And again, since it has onboard processing capabilities where the 8KX and our other headsets do not,
Right.
there's a lot of things that are offloaded, like the audio processing, the tracking, a whole bunch of other things are done in the headset that required processing time and coordination with the PC. And so you have added processing that you didn't have as well. So
Ja, aber
in
trotzdem,
addition to the eye tracking
es
and the
hilft
techniques,
nichts,
you have
darüber zu
onboard processing
sprechen. Ich meine, ihr habt die
capability
Fragen auch
and
gestellt,
you
Sebastian
have
hat sie weitergeleitet eben.
a lot of
Aber
new
es
things in the
muss
toolbox
unabhängige Tests auf
that we
unserer
didn't have
Seite
before.
geben.
So I really don't think I think that someone says, "Hey, I got the 4090, yay!" Right? Well, that's great. You'll make good use of it, no doubt, no matter what headset you have. But in my opinion, it's not going to be required. Nothing near it is going to be required.
Okay, well, that is actually great news. So I would be perfectly fine with my
And it
4080.
hasn't been. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Okay.
So.
Und es war,
Yeah,
er
well, that
sagt,
was actually
man
one of the
braucht aber der
most asked
KX schon keine
questions. Like, wow, what do I
4090.
need to make this happen, to make this work? But yeah,
Falsch.
now we understand better that the technologies, right, to compress
Again, you can
somehow the
you can
data.
apply all the techniques
good.
that have
Yeah.
become available, and if we can build some of those techniques into the driver, we're looking at doing building different kinds of techniques into the driver, give you more tools, and do things that expand what you can do from the driver side.
Okay.
And so that's kind of some places we'd like to go.
Okay.
With the next steps.
Good to know. Yeah, the next area of questions will deal with wireless, and that's the part where you said like this is like the biggest thing that still has to be resolved. You're not ready with this, but still I do have some questions. So you have two modes of wireless. One is Wi-Fi 6E, right? And the other one is Wigig. Could you shortly explain to us when Wi-Fi is used and when Wigig is used?
In theory, they can both be used for everything.
Okay.
Downloading firmware, downloading software into your, into the memory of the headset, which this one has 128 gig. download, downloading
128 Gigabyte Speicher.
files and all kinds. You can do the normal wireless things that you could do from inside the headset, but and then you have the standalone mode where you can boot the thing up and operate it with no PC at all, of course.
Mhm.
And then the Wi-Fi works for that with all the connectivity that you need for that. I would say that there's actually, Wi-Fi 6E is not sufficient to run a headset like this at the full resolution and the full FOV and the full refresh rates. You have to cut it down very significantly to run on 6E.
Okay.
And if you want to get anywhere near what the headset can do, you have to run Wigig.
Okay.
I would mention that we actually have two adapters in testing. We actually have since it's an external adapter that plugs in here. I showed you the pictures of some of the samples.
Right.
One of those is actually not a Wigig. One of them is, and one of them is a wireless HD, which is a kind of a competitor.
Okay.
So we have both.
Out, yeah.
And which one
Wireless
will actually
HD kenne ich
release,
gar nicht. Ist wohl ein
or
Konkurrenzprodukt zu
Unknown.
Wigig von Intel.
Okay.
They both work.
Okay.
Got it. So for
But working smooth is the key. Wireless
Yeah, right.
HD has higher bandwidth than Wigig,
okay.
by the way.
So for the Wi-Fi, for the Wi-Fi 6E,
Also
for the kind of
ganz
streaming,
klar
are
Wigig
you
oder auch Wireless
building
HD,
your own streaming
falls es denn dann
software, or are you
kommt.
working together with Virtual Desktop, Gigodin, or how is it? How do you work on that?
Wird natürlich die höhere Bitrate haben, Bildqualität.
One of the apps we've been working on is a movie playing thing that you can do from inside the headset. We got a lot of cool apps that you can run in the headset. We've got a lot of third parties that we're working with that are writing both for the PC-based things and for standalone things. And so we've got both aspects on that. But yeah, we're about to, I think in the next, you're actually going to see us do a launch very, very, very soon. That kind of gives people an idea of what that'll be. And so you can keep an eye out on the PIMAX.com for announcements in the next week or two.
I think you misunderstood my question.
Talk about they have
my
some
question.
of those aspects.
My question was for the streaming, for the Wi-Fi streaming. Let's say I want to do something like I do with the Quest 2, like virtual desktop, right? Using Wi-Fi 6E. Like for that streaming solution, are you working on your own solution, or
When
are
you
you
say
working?
Streaming what?
I mean, streaming
Media
Steam
or
VR.
streaming,
Steam VR. I'm streaming Steam VR content. That also works via
Okay.
Wi-Fi, right? Via Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
in a
so
lower
that
resolution, a lower
right,
FOV.
right, exactly. So for to make that happen, is it an application that we know, like virtual desktop, or are you building that by yourself?
We're building that.
Okay.
We're building that. We have our own apps, some of our own apps for it, and we have third parties too. And we hope
Okay.
to have things like virtual desktop and all kinds of things like that.
Right.
But
You should totally work together
we
with
do have some of our
Gigodin.
own
He's so
apps.
good in this. He's so good in doing these kind of things, right? So,
Anybody that wants to develop for this, we'd love to
Okay,
to
also
contact us.
ich glaube, der versteht die Frage
We
wirklich
can
nicht.
work
Are
on
you
getting
already-
a sample.
Die Frage
are you
ist,
already in touch with Gigodin from Virtual Desktop?
die
We
Frage
want-
ist,
That's a good
That-
question. Not me personally, but I don't know everyone who's.
ob
I know that we
sie
have
das
hundreds
Wireless Streaming von
of,
Steam VR Games
developers that we are
selber
in contact with.
entwickeln?
I don't know if he's one of them.
die Schnittstelle auf
He should
beiden
be a
Seiten,
priority in my opinion.
oder ob
And the community
sowas
push for also
wie
things like
Virtual
that.
Desktop vielleicht schon
yeah.
Virtual Desktop
akquiriert
is
No,
wurde,
there's
sag ich
something
jetzt
that
mal,
I'm,
für den
I
Store.
love virtual desktop. I love all the
Sie
mods.
wissen jetzt
like
aber gerade nicht,
cross
ob schon
mods.
Kontakt aufgenommen
Ja.
wurde.
Some of these things are so cool, you know. And I want to make sure I mean, clearly we can run all of these on the new headsets.
Right. Yeah, okay, cool. So virtual desktop is not yet confirmed, but you want to work together with others. So if you're not yet working with
We
Giga
do.
Down, hopefully you do. Hopefully
If anybody wants to reach out to us related to that, we would love to talk to them. And have ones that are kind of optimized for this via Steam.
Right. Okay, so
But you can do both. That's one of the cool things about the headset.
Yeah,
you
that is
can run it
interesting.
either
Of
way.
course. That is
If
interesting.
you just want to watch, in theory, if you just want to watch movies, you can do it on the battery, sit in bed, put the headset on, watch a movie, and have a pretty amazing experience compared to something like a Quest.
Yeah. Thinking about this right now, when it's cabled, when you use a cabled connection, would you charge the battery automatically so that you don't need to exchange the battery? Because the XR2 still needs to be powered, and the inside-out tracking still needs to be powered by that battery. So in the best case, the battery would be charged by that cable somehow.
Right. You in some of the samples you can plug it in while you're using it, and it charges the battery.
But that is not confirmed for the final one, or?
Yeah, I've seen samples where the charger connects to the cable.
Right.
Just like an old PIMAX did, with the power supply.
But that is not yet confirmed how this is going to work.
Yeah, I imagine we
Scheint
might
wieder Missverständnis vorzulegen. Sebastian wollte einfach nur wissen, wird die Batterie der 8KX geladen, während man PCVA kabelgebunden spielt? Und er sagt jetzt, er möchte jetzt wissen, ob, oder er antwortet jetzt auf die Frage, ob man spielen kann Standalone, während man nur den Akku lädt, wie bei der Quest.
Okay.
It won't boot without it.
Yeah, right. So that's an important question because people will want to use that cable longer than the 2 hours.
The one that I have will not boot without it.
Okay.
But whether or not that'll be available when it's at release, because we've still got some time. So we've still got some 6-8 months before this thing releases. So
yeah, you will be very busy. You'll be very busy, it seems. So talking about the Wigig, are we talking about the protocol 802.11ay, the latest one?
They don't want me to get into the protocol. I can only say that we have a Wigig module, which is in the picture, and we also have a wireless HD module, also in the picture.
Okay.
Also ob es Wigig 2 ist,
what
kann
kind of
nicht
software is going to be used? Is it going to be the same PyTool software, or is it going to be the PIMAX experience that I recently tried out and that I actually liked? But I did hear from this is going to be the same?
Our intention is to develop. We have been developing new software. You're going to see the new PIMAX software even for the old headsets. So
okay.
PyTool soll überarbeitet werden,
all new,
auch für alle Headsets.
PIMAX software in the very, very, very late stages. So, and it has the PIMAX store and integrated.
That is interesting. So it's going to be a complete new software, basically. Is it in PyTool, or is it a totally different piece? It has a different name, or what is it going to be?
Wie heißt die Software? Welche ist sie für die 12K?
Right now, it's called the PIMAX PC app. That's the name.
Okay, das ist im Moment noch nicht das PyTool, sondern PIMAX PC App heißt der Companion.
I uploaded for it that they gave the big thumbs down to, but I thought was a catchy new name for it. Maybe we will. But yeah, right now it's called the PIMAX PC app. And
PIMAX PC app coming up here. Okay, so
coming very
in
soon.
that PIMAX, in this PIMAX PC app, you will do all of the settings, and you will all
Yeah.
of the game starting, just like in the PIMAX experience before. And
Yeah.
there's the store for the standalone headset.
It has a PC VR store too. in it.
Okay.
So it has
Ja,
two.
auch
It
ein
has both.
PC-VR-Store
Right.
gesellt sich dazu.
So that
And,
means that you will get into competition
Yeah.
with Steam. You will have your whole platform for PC
Steam
VR as well.
Competitor.
Right. What's going to happen is in the next little bit, there's going to emails will start going out to people who for testing of the new software.
Okay, also es
So,
wird bald auch Tests
yeah,
geben
that's
für
what's
den
gonna
neuen
happen.
Store.
And
Spannend.
it's
This
an
is
alpha.
like
Das
super
wird dann
interesting.
heißen,
I
dass
want
es auch
to
für
talk
andere
more
Headsets
about it.
eben,
That,
nicht
that
nur für
would
das
be a
Circle
completely
geht.
new strategy. So you also want to become a gaming platform. It makes sense for the standalone. Obviously, you need some store.
Yeah,
But that
we've had
Ja,
PIMAX
spannend.
SDKs
Ja,
going
sie
out for
gehen, was die
year
Ideen angeht,
or so.
ja, gut, wir wussten es
And,
auch schon vor einem halben Jahr, gehen sie wirklich
So
Yeah.
so what about
volle
all the
Kanne
Steam
nach
VR
vorne und
games?
sie
What
haben
about all the
nichts daran
developers?
geändert. Das ist wirklich
You
spannend.
need them to go to this new
Es ist
store
sogar
to
noch so,
also
dass sie noch
sell
Dinge anzukündigen
PC
Oh, people
VR
oder
can
games.
still
ankündigen
buy.
möchten,
This doesn't.
die
this
es
doesn't
bisher
impact
noch
anyone.
nicht, die wir bisher noch nicht kennen.
You can still go to Steam and
Okay.
Epic Store and all the other places and get PIMAX things, and this will be where you can in the future where you can do it from inside the headset. You'll be able to do it from inside our software, and
Okay.
much more streamlined. And the cool thing is that the apps are optimized for PIMAX. The apps that are there
Okay.
are
That makes
have
sense.
full PIMAX optimizations in there for the wide field of view, the high resolution, for parallel projections, and the whole all of the PIMAX oriented tweaks. But really, you can run anything on a PIMAX. You can run Oculus things on, for the Oculus Home on a PIMAX. So and we're gonna keep all that in there as far as that goes.
Okay, so it makes
This will be
sense.
things that are
So,
optimized for it.
so the
Sachen, die
games
im
in the
Store
PIMAX
erscheinen,
Store, even
PIMAX
for
2, egal
PCVR,
ob
they
auf
will all be
PC oder
optimized for PIMAX.
Standalone,
Okay, makes sense.
die werden natürlich
Yeah,
optimiert
so-
sein auf
And
das
we're
hohe
working directly
FOV
with
und
a huge number of
und
developers
auf
on
die
these things,
Techniken,
so.
Eye-Tracking.
Yeah. And
Da
in the
bin ich
standalone
gespannt, ob sie
modes,
da wirklich
how
diese
easy is
Qualitätskontrolle
it going to be
betreiben
for
werden.
developers to port their Quest 2 games to that new headset? I'm sure that this will be like very
That's
important, right?
That's a key element.
That's
We've
key
been making it
element,
as easy as possible. We've actually a key focus was to make it as simple and as seamless as possible to release things intended for Quest, intended for other platforms that are standalone for PIMAX, and to make this possible. And the team has been a big focus of them is to get it to where it's a painless process. So
Okay.
and
So
have it where you can launch inside the headset.
Give us an idea about how many games will be in that standalone store once the device is out. Will there be like games that we know? Is it like Quest 2 games?
Yeah. No, there's games that we know from publishers that we know, and there's a lot of them. So
A lot of them. Like
A
what
lot
is it?
of
Like
Games, sagt
more
er.
than
Viele
10,
Games
more
werden
than,
zum Start
50?
verfügbar sein,
yeah.
Standalone. Und
Who
auch
knows?
einige und viele
knows?
davon, die wir natürlich schon kennen.
You'll get I'll say this: you won't have to wait long at all to get a taste of that.
Wow, okay, that sounds interesting. That sounds
Because
very,
we're
very
gonna release it
interesting.
on the
Er sagt, wir
existing-
müssen nicht mehr lange
the-
warten,
the
um
Alpha will be
Informationen
released
dazu
for the-
zu bekommen.
for the P2. So
How powerful is the headset in standalone mode compared to the Quest 2? Because the Quest 2, we know
Much
it's a
more
powerful
powerful.
headset, much more powerful, even though it's using the same chip, but you are cooling it down
Yeah.
way better.
yeah, they're running it. Remember on a Quest, they're running it with passive, and it's
Stimmt nicht.
and they're running it they're having to clock it so that
Er
it's
sagt,
so that it can operate that way. So
sagt jetzt auf einer
we're
Quest
not. We're
2
using active cooling.
oder in der Quest
We
2
have,
wird
and we're
der
actually
Chip
running it at a
passiv
high-
gekühlt.
We're
Das
getting
ist
a
nicht
lot
richtig.
more performance out of it.
Aber
So-
gut, sie sagen trotzdem, dass sie noch besser kühlen und
It's,
deswegen ist der XR2 hier höher
dramatically improved.
getaktet.
over
Das heißt aber nicht, dass wir
previous,
mehr
XR2s
Performance
as
bekommen
far
werden,
as
sondern das heißt
performance
einfach
goes.
nur,
Okay.
dass ja
That's
einfach
what the active cooling
das
is for.
Nötige noch rausgeholt
we,
wird, weil natürlich hier eine viel höhere Auflösung
And the
angestrebt wird.
design is specifically designed to have faster memory performance, faster performance to SD. All the design is designed to be higher performance than previous parts.
Okay.
The tracking is much higher performance. Everything about it is next gen.
So in the standalone mode, what kind of refresh rate are we getting, and what kind of resolution, and what kind of FOV? Like I turned it on for the first time in standalone mode. What do I see?
Well, it has a menu, a set of menus where you can launch things from. It's a launcher essentially, and you can change the settings and you have a launcher.
Wenn man das
and the
Gerät im
launcher will
Standalone-Mode
install.
zuerst mal
It's
anmacht, wird man
kind
halt
of Quest-ish
eine Art
launcher.
Launcher, eine Art Home-Umgebung sehen. Würde mal sagen,
you
eher so
can
wie bei
purchase
der
things from
Vive
there,
Focus
and you can
3
do-
und nicht wie
you
bei der
can do a lot of
Quest
free
2, denn da gibt es ja schon wirklich viel im Moment und mittlerweile.
you can do firmware updates and things like that from in the menus when you boot it
So,
up.
Sebastian
and then
noch
you can
eben
launch use the
nach
controllers you can launch directly.
Auflösung,
Okay. And,
That
Refresh
does not
Rate,
really answer my
FOV.
question. What kind of
Standalone
resolution?
experience. It's a full
What kind of
standalone. Oh,
Standalone.
And in the
Yep.
settings, you can control the resolution. Right now, you control it, but in the future, each application will control it. So
Okay.
right now, you manually control the FOV and
Jetzt
the
gerade kann man da
refresh rate and those
manuelle
things inside of the
Anpassungen
settings menu.
nehmen an den
And, but in the
Einstellungen,
future, we'll probably have
FOV,
it where the apps can define that
ja,
based on how complex
Auflösung
the
und
app
so
is.
weiter.
So if you,
Aber sie
if
wollen
you
es in
play something
Zukunft dann
complex,
eigentlich so wie eine Art
it'll set
Konsole
the
haben,
appropriate-
dass die Apps
automatically set the
bestimmen natürlich,
appropriate
welche
FOV
Auflösung
refresh and all of the-
gefahren wird, welches
yeah.
FOV, welche
But
Bildwiederholfrequenz.
what are you
But
targeting?
To answer,
Like,
to answer your question is,
Yep.
what is it? And my
Yeah.
answer is, it's different based on what you run. So when you run something really simple, you can go wider.
Yeah.
And the more complex it is,
Sebastian möchte eben
the
wissen,
smaller you have to make
was soll denn das Ziel sein
it. And the
jetzt?
lower the refresh you have to make it. The lower
Jetzt klar
resolution
sagt
the
er, es kommt drauf an, ja.
So-
Yeah. Let's talk about. Let's say okay.
for simple things,
Yeah.
for a Beat Saber sort of thing, for example, that kind of thing, you can run it at like 150 degrees at 90 hertz. You know.
Yeah. So
And,
how about your
fehlt
typical
noch
Quest
in
2
der
game?
Formel die
Let's say
Auflösung.
something like Resident Evil 4. Is it
Okay,
something
Beat
that you
Saber-like
could play on a
Spiele
full resolution.
sollen wohl
Yeah. So
150
then
Grad
you,
FOV
then
haben,
it reduces the
horizontal.
FOV more. So you
Okay.
go down to like, something lower than 150. So in some cases, significantly
Und
lower.
90 Hertz.
Yeah. And how about the
all of the
resolution?
Und Spiele wie
FOVs, all the
Resident Evil,
FOVs are high, pretty much all the FOVs are higher than what you see on
die es
on-
natürlich
Ja.
nicht geben wird, weil sie Oculus exklusiv sind.
Okay.
Da wird es
And
natürlich
what kind of resolution
nach
do
unten
you
gehen.
Yeah,
drive
and the
then?
resolution is it's 2.5K per eye or 4K per eye.
Yeah.
Ah,
Is-
okay.
That is
what we
still
have
huge.
now.
2,5K pro Auge
quite a lot.
The
wäre
density is actually higher, even
ungefähr
in the low resolution mode,
wie
it's
bei der
still higher
Focus
than
3.
other headsets. So
und
Okay.
generally.
4K pro
Yeah.
Auge,
You know,
das
actually,
wäre
when I
wirklich
first
sehr
heard
viel.
about the device,
Aber bei
I
150 Grad
simply thought that the
FOV
standalone
ist
mode
2,5
would be
K
some kind of
nicht
gimmick
viel.
and that the most people
Ja,
would
denn
actually
da wird das Ganze ja
not
über das
use
ganze
it, and
FOV
people would
verteilt.
actually use it as a PCVR
Wenn
headset.
wir
I
einfach
was
ein
enthusiastic. I
Quest-like
thought that I wanted
Standalone
will-
mit dazu bekommen, was
I
nicht
think a
vom
lot of
Meta
people
ist,
will use it
wäre es ja
as a
super.
PC
Es muss gar
headset.
nicht besser sein, finde ich.
But even for people who use it as a PCVR headset, those people will benefit from having the onboard processing because it handles your audio, it handles all automatic.
Erwähnen nochmal, dass selbst wenn man es nur als PC-VR-Headset
handles the eye
benutzt,
tracking, the
was ja
distortion
fast schon eine
profile,
Verschwendung
and a
wäre,
myriad of other
dann hat
things.
man trotzdem ein bisschen
on
Entlastung
board.
auf dem Rechner. Scheinbar ist es
It's like
erwähnenswert,
a
seiner
PCVR
Meinung nach,
headset on steroids,
weil
is what it
eben
is. And,
Audio Processing
you can,
und
there's
Tracking
so much
Processing
that it can
alles
do.
in der Brille
And the nice thing
stattfindet
is, you don't have to
und nicht
rely
auf dem PC.
on
Und
this
er sagt ja
shifting
gerade, es ist ein
sands of
PC-VR-Headset
Windows,
auf
of Windows
Steroiden.
drivers and Steam drivers and having the right NVIDIA. And in a lot of cases in Windows, you have to worry about some of these things. They say, well, make sure you update to the latest NVIDIA driver to do this and that. There's a less reliance on that on this headset. So those shifting sands aren't there as much. So I think a lot of PCVR users will really appreciate the onboard processing capability.
Okay.
Da bin ich echt gespannt, ob das
So-
nicht vielleicht sogar...
Okay, cool. Good to know. So I'm wondering,
Was Schlechtes sein
how about
kann.
in the
Werden
future
wir sehen.
there would be like a third-party open store? Let's say SideQuest decides SideQuest is now becoming the OpenXR store for
Yeah.
OpenXR. Does the PIMAX 12K QLED in wireless mode or in standalone mode offer OpenXR compatibility?
It's not as simple as that. You know,
Yeah.
I've talked to them before, but yeah, our plan is to get as many applications on this headset as possible, and there's a lot of ways we can do that. I can't get into how.
Okay, Sebastian sagt,
Okay, so you
könnte
cannot
es
talk
auch
about
sein, dass man
OpenXR compatibility right
SideQuest-Apps
now.
auf der 12K QLED installieren
We've got
kann.
a
Er
lot of
sagt,
things that we're
er hatte
working
schon mal
on
Kontakt
for
zu
the new
denen, kann aber
headsets.
jetzt nicht zu sagen.
And a lot
Sie
of
wollen
them
grundsätzlich
revolve around
durchaus
trying to
mehrere
figure out
Wege
ways to
haben,
have
um dort
as much
Applikationen
software
auf die
available
Brille
for
bringen
it
zu
as
können.
possible. Let's put it that way.
Let's leave it like this. Yeah. All right. Cool. Very cool. Is the PIMAX computer thing still something that you want to do? Because that's also something
Well,
that
you've seen a picture of it, of a real thing.
no, the PIMAX computer, that box that
Indeed.
you mentioned. Okay.
In the pictures,
Really? That you sent to me?
there's
I
a
didn't
version
see
of
it.
that has there's two versions of that. One of them is just the wireless, and the other one has some capabilities for graphics processing and other things. So yes,
The PIMAX computer, the
that-
PIMAX box.
Jetzt geht es um
Yeah,
den PIMAX
that's what
Computer.
the wireless adapter can also have the graphics processing capability in it.
Wait.
And
This
memory.
thing here, the Dyson thing, this is actually the computer.
There's a version. One of the versions we're working on of that is that. Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow, that is
Yeah.
that is news. That is actually that is a new piece of information. So is actually this what I'm showing right now? This thing is the PIMAX box.
It's both.
Wow,
It's the housing for the PIMAX box version, and it's also
that is
the-
another scoop here,
the
man.
wireless
On
adapter.
MRTV, that is cool.
But we'll probably sell it at first
is cool.
just with just the wireless capability.
Hä?
You know,
Also, nochmal auf Deutsch.
it's different electronics.
Was ihr gerade
that go into the
seht,
different
achso,
versions,
ich mach's vielleicht mal ein bisschen größer.
Okay.
Was ihr gerade seht,
Oh man, I'm a bit shocked right now. because
sollte eigentlich
before I
nur
just thought
das
this is some small device, but
Wireless-Modul
now, if I see
sein,
on
das
this picture right
Wigig-Modul
now,
meine ich.
it's
Und das soll
kind of
auch
big.
in einer anderen
Yeah, the
Version
picture
genauso
didn't look
groß
like this big.
die PIMAX-Box, der
Yeah,
PIMAX
it's- we did that
Computer
for
sein,
scale.
der
You're right.
Grafikberechnung
That makes
tätigen
sense.
soll.
So that is the PIMAX box. Cool. Looks cool. I like it. And this also is
Also,
it has
da,
the Wigig
sorry,
included then. This whole thing, the whole Dyson thing is the
das
WiMAX
bezweifle ich
antenna
sehr
then,
deutlich.
Yeah.
Da kann nichts
Wow.
rauskommen.
basically. Now you
But
got me
it's two
speechless.
different
a little bit.
versions of the same of the electronics in the same box is what it is. So
Okay. And this will be available when, and how expensive is it going to be?
available when? The Wigig part we hope to have available very quickly. We hope that we could launch it together with the headset. And the Wi-Fi 6E is integrated into the headset. It's naturally part of it, so everyone gets wireless capability on the Reality series. Everyone gets eye tracking on the Reality series, and everyone gets the port where you can connect the Wigig, where you can do the 60 gigahertz. But I'd say I hope that Q4 release it's the same as the headset.
Okay. We do have some feedback now from the German stream, and yeah, the German stream doesn't believe it. The thing is, that
das
box,
war
what
mein
can it do?
Feedback.
Like, the question is, what is it able to do? So you don't need a computer anymore to run PC VR games. This is a PC. This is a PC basically inside that will play PC VR games, or what is it?
Think Steam Deck.
Uh-huh.
So it's roughly the power of a Steam Deck. you
Okay,
know,
it's a powerful
in the
Steam Deck.
testing.
So what can I run on it?
In other words, if you're asking, do we include like a 3090 in the as part of this thing? No,
Yeah, right.
but it's going to have decent processing power in it. that will allow gaming capability with no PC above and beyond what you can do with the capabilities in the headset on the standalone mode.
So what does it run basically? What is it? What is it?
Again,
Is
they
it
want to do a whole event on this thing, so
Okay, yeah, that makes
I'm
sense.
not going to get into the specs on
Okay,
any of this
yeah.
on this stuff on that particularly.
So
But,
just tell me one thing. For people who don't have a gaming PC,
Yeah,
can they buy this and then they can install Half-Life Alyx on this?
I think the cool thing about it is that you can on the standalone aspect, you'll be able to do standalone things, and for this, you'll be able to do standalone things at a wider field of view, higher resolution. You'll be able to do essentially the same things, but with
Okay, also jetzt wurde es ein bisschen aufgeklärt. Ich hatte Feedback dagelassen
and so on.
bei Sebastian und er fragt jetzt nochmal genau nach. Was ist das? Und jetzt hat er es ein bisschen spezifiziert. Jeder weiß ja mittlerweile, was das Steam Deck ist von Valve. Das ist ein Minicomputer quasi, der nicht sehr leistungsfähig ist. Und da soll angeblich jetzt in diesem Ding Hardware drin sein, die leistungsfähiger als der XR2 ist. Und da sehe ich auch nicht wirklich Kühlung. Aber natürlich nicht so leistungsfähig wie PC-VR. Aber sowas dazwischen. Und das kann ich trotzdem nicht glauben. Also es macht zwar Sinn, was er sagt, dass das etwas dazwischen ist, aber es ist ja am Ende trotzdem nur so groß. Ja? Wahnsinn. Also, ja, aber das ist das, was PIMAX eben meint. Da haben wir schon mal neue Informationen, die wir noch nicht hatten. Okay, also sie möchten damit mehr Leistung als XR2 schaffen, aber natürlich trotzdem deutlich weniger als PC. Denn ein Steam Deck ist überhaupt nicht leistungsfähig, wenn wir über die HD-Ready-Auflösung gehen, die es eben hat. Also, deswegen frage ich mich, und sie erreicht ja nur 30 Frames. Ja, ich weiß nicht, wie man 90 Frames mit 2,5K Auflösung und egal welchem FOV erreichen soll, damit. Also schon bei einem XR2 ehrlicherweise nicht. Okay, spannend.
Give us a ballpark number in terms of how expensive this could be?
No, but
Hundreds
it's yeah. I mean, it'll be it's intended to be somewhere in in the low end, in a like a console type price. So console type price is what we want.
Yeah, makes sense.
So,
Okay, also so 500 Euro wollen sie dafür verlangen.
it'll be relatively inexpensive and not
Ehrlicherweise.
anywhere near the kind of price this guy in the chat just said.
Okay. Yeah, right. Good to
Was?
know. Good to know.
Welcher Preis?
Yeah, console
in that
price.
ballpark.
Console
500
price
Euro.
is like $400.
Yeah,
Okay.
something like that.
Aber würde ich nicht bezahlen. Für welche Leistung? Wenn ich dann XR2 schon drin habe, dann lieber für den Rechner noch.
Because if already
Yeah,
the
that's
device
going to be
itself,
something.
yeah,
That's going to be something that we do an event on.
right,
You know,
right, that makes sense.
and but we have a lot of accessories for this. You know, a lot of ideas and a lot of things that are in the works that have been in the works for a long time.
Aber da war mal
And,
eine andere Perspektive.
You know, and some of them kind of hinge on it having some sort of standalone capability. Remember, all the accessories before, a lot of them had to be Lighthouse compatible, and they had to be within that ecosystem, which really depended on Valve. And so now, you know, we're moving in a direction that allow us to manufacture a wider variety of things. You know.
Yeah, got it. Interesting. What's the name going to be of this Dyson box?
Well, it'll be the wire. The initial version of it, so it'll be the wireless adapter, 60 gigahertz adapter,
Okay.
and then later it'll be the PIMAX station, I
The
think.
PIMAX Station. All right.
Okay,
And you're
also
also
wenn der
aiming,
PC da drin
just
ist,
to
wird
reiterate,
es PIMAX
you're
Station
aiming
heißen.
at
Und wenn es
Q4
oder
release
wenn
as
es
well.
nur dieses Wigig-Modul ist,
Yeah.
ist es eben 60
Well, no, I don't
Gigahertz
know. I don't know
Modul.
when that'll be released.
Ah, okay, you don't know.
The computer version of it will be after the headset's released, I'm
Ja,
sure.
also PIMAX
Right.
Station nicht dieses Jahr.
So.
Okay,
It's okay.
cool. So, yeah, I guess you cannot share more details about modules like the lighthouse, or is hand tracking supported, for example? Yeah, that is a good question. How about hand tracking? Is it supported?
Hand tracking is supported, and the hand tracking that they're working on uses the cameras in the headset.
Ah, okay, yeah, that's perfect. That's better. So you don't need to add some additional module.
Right. And the body tracking attaches to the bottom.
Okay, so the body tracking thing is real. It's gonna be a thing.
Right.
Yeah,
it's a partner company similar to Tobii and
okay.
similar to Qualcomm and some of our other partners.
Right. But
And it's something
What-
that's already
what will it support? Will it be compatible with VR chat out of the box, for example? That's probably something that people will want to use it for.
yeah. You need a certain level of functionality with it when you release it. Let's put it that way. And
Yeah,
that would be
so
my
you don't
Die
have
first-
that right now.
Handtracking,
that would
für
be
Walltracking
my
und so
first
sollen eben kommen.
wish
Ja,
to see
ist
it
aber nichts, was
operating.
wo wir mit
Right.
dem, also wo wir
But,
zum
the
Launch
company
mit
working on
rechnen
it, that's
können.
that kind of thing.
Aber ja, ich denke die ganze Zeit über diesen Computer nach.
Got it. So how about you mentioned the
Ganz komisch.
pass-through module? How real is that?
Jetzt wird über das
For
Mixed
the AR
Reality Modul
uses.
geredet,
Yeah.
wo man Augmented
I haven't seen
Reality.
it.
Okay.
Ah, okay, gibt es noch nicht.
It's it's topic of discussions internally when that the engineers are working on. But but
Also, das ist Zukunftsmusik. All diese Module,
the cameras are relatively high.
das ist Zukunftsmusik.
And they tried to match the FOV of the headset, so you get a real nice reality to it. The part that I don't know about it is that whether or not I'm sure it still uses the inside out tracking when you add that, but I'm pretty sure it requires that, and it won't work with the lighthouse when you add that module, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mixed
right. So
Reality soll
it's
wahrscheinlich
just
nicht mit
still
dem
far away from this
Lighthouse-Modul
model,
gehen.
right? Quite still far away. That
Handtracking
AR module.
ähnlich.
I don't know. Like I say, it is in the engineering docket that we get when we do the reports. I see it.
Yeah.
So I know the teams are working on it on the different sleeves, on the faceplates. But those are things that are not the top priority. The top priority now is the lighthouse faceplate for as far as the faceplates go.
Yeah, that makes
The
sense.
top priority is the lighthouse one.
Is
and,
Lighthouse
the Lighthouse
faceplate available on day one? Is that something that you
I
can
hope
say
I
now?
hope it's available on or around day one. Our intention is to get it out right around that time. So,
Okay. Yeah, since your
they keep
engineer
telling
said
me
it's
how
so
easy.
easy.
They keep telling me how easy it is.
It
So
should be there.
I'm like, I want one.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, me too. People want that, right?
Ja,
It's
also ich
good.
hatte Sebastian
Like
gerade gefragt,
Lighthouse.
wird das
The ones
Lighthouse-Modul
the
am
ones
Tag
they've
1
built,
verfügbar sein?
It has it in it.
Welcher Tag 1 das
You know,
auch?
it's got the lighthouses. It's like the faceplate's like part of it. You know,
Okay. Got
just
it.
for the sample, just for testing. And
Right.
it's not the mask or not the faceplate. It's for testing. It's just to test where the sensors go and all that.
All right.
But they say it works fine, and it's real easy to make it a faceplate that just snaps right on, like the other ones do. So
Got it.
I
Ja,
think it'll be.
es
It's
wird
not according to
wahrscheinlich
them,
nicht
it is
am
not a technical
Tag
challenge.
1 erscheinen, das
All
Lighthouse-Modul.
right. All right. So
Oh, sag ich dann nur.
tell us the ballpark price of the Lighthouse module, because people are going to pay
I don't
2,400.
know.
Okay, you don't know.
I don't know,
Preis
but I
des
think
Moduls
it's
nicht
going to be
bekannt.
inexpensive.
Yeah.
I think our intention is to make it inexpensive, and I think they definitely don't want that to have a high price. So it's going to be low.
Got it. Yeah, basically, I am finished with all my questions. That was
I don't
already
think Lighthouse module is something we plan on making on being like a profit center or anything. I think we just
Got
want
it.
people to be able to get it.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's certain things we want people to be able to do.
Lighthouse-Modul
We want to get that over to
erwähnt
them so
er,
that-
das soll nicht sein, womit die
So
Geld
they can have the
verdienen. Es soll
capabilities
einfach
and
etwas
it's
sein,
out
was
there.
sie durchverkaufen,
Yeah, right.
damit die Leute es eben
So-
nutzen können.
Okay, so
Dennoch
I
eben
just...
yeah,
Tag
this has
1.
gone on a long time.
Yeah,
We've answered about as much.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to get to an end now because already we've been talking for 3 hours, and yeah, that's amazing. So we've learned so much
amazing.
about. That's really amazing. So we learned so much about the device.
People that are watching this, and especially this long, congratulations to you.
Yeah, really.
But
Yeah,
and
there was
thank you
there
so
was an
much for
amazing stream.
coming. And thank you so much for
Absolutely.
putting up with me for this long.
Yeah, with both of us. Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
3 hours,
but
really nice.
thank you. It's just great that we have people interested, and we just want to live up to the promises of this headset. And I know
Yeah,
in my testing that we can. And having
Also, der
events
Stream
like
kommt jetzt
these
zum Ende.
is ways we want to show it. And
Und er
we
sagt,
that's good. People
we
need
showed
to
Sie
the
möchten so
headset,
viel
we showed
Versprechen
the
einhalten,
motion
wie
with
sie
the
können.
photos and the wireless adapter and the
Ja,
joysticks,
das ist
and
schon mal
showed
gut.
the station, and we showed a lot of things, and but the next ones you'll get to see a lot more.
Wow,
And,
and we're excited about it, honestly speaking.
Wir werden immer mehr
and,
sehen.
and like I
jetzt.
say, one of the things I'd love to do is have you guys, get a whole group of people down here. We can all
I'm ready.
experiment with this stuff and do it live. Have it.
Yeah, I'm ready.
have
I'm
it
ready
where
to
the
go.
Good, the bad, the good, the bad, the ugly is all there, and everybody
I'm
gets
ready
to see.
to step into the plane and visit you, and yeah, look through the device
I've
to
had
tell the
other
people about it.
ones. I've had other YouTubers say that they want to come down and do that. So
Yeah,
we're happy to have them and let them have the hands-on time where we don't interfere with them, where they can, where you can just have at it. And but I would like to be around, so that we can make sure everything is okay, and if there's a driver or something. But
yeah, of course.
something improvement that you guys uncover some problem, we can be there to fix it.
Of course.
But that's
So
all.
I'm ready. I'm ready to
I'd love
come.
for you guys to have at it, but we're around to fix something if it goes wrong. That's
Perfect.
kind of what I'd like to do next.
Right. So yeah, the community here watching us right now, they seem to really appreciate what we did here. 3 hours, like you answered all the
Wow.
questions that I had, and
That's
we
a lot
got
of questions.
exclusive reveals here on MRTV of
Yeah, I got
of
quite
the
a
hardware,
few.
which is amazing. Thank you for that. Yeah, it was really cool. Thanks so much for your time. It's also a long time for you, and yeah, really nice, really cool.
Thank everybody so much for sticking with us and with our existing
Ja.
headsets, and of course the
Bedanken
new
sich
ones.
beide, bedankt sich bei allen
And,
PIMAX-Usern.
and I just want to thank all the other VR companies out there for innovating
Und er dankt allen
with the
VR-Firmen,
VR community. We need
dass sie
It's
dranbleiben,
exciting.
dass sie
We have-
VR
it's really
pushen.
exciting
Ja, ist
for
ja
all of
nett,
them.
dass er das sagt.
and our best way in your channel.
Und er lädt
And your
natürlich,
success.
Yes, it's
as
looking
well.
good. It's looking very
Really,
good.
thank you.
Yeah, it's great.
und er lädt eben
Yeah, I'm excited
Sebastian
about the
ein.
next show. I'm excited about the next reveal. You
USA
said you have
sich das
so
Headset
many things
anzugucken.
that you're going to tell the community. Probably you could give the community an idea when will be the next show, when will be the next reveal. What should they do other than subscribing to this channel?
You'll see. So upcoming, a little bit of a schedule, I guess. So I can't go too detailed into it, but I can say
Yeah, okay.
this: we have that release for the existing headsets coming up soon, which is and a bunch of people will be invited to be part of that, and they'll be welcome to talk about it in public.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I can get you a copy of that, so you can show it on your show if you want to. It's
Yeah,
essentially our
obviously
new
I want to.
software. So we
Yeah.
have that, and that'll be very soon. And then after that, which will be pretty quick after that, we're going to do some more showing. We've got some feature reveals we want to do. So we have the feature reveals we want to have. We got a couple of those that haven't been talked about yet. A couple of them are real cool. and that'll be right after that. And then we have the big companion announcement that I am sure won't be that long. It's the one that we were going to make at CES.
Also sie wollen in Zukunft immer mehr zeigen, sie wollen
but
Yeah.
it's
eben
something.
die anderen Geräte auch gerne zeigen, die
gonna
noch
be
rauskommen
exciting.
sollen. Das hat er ja angekündigt. Es wird noch
And that'll, I
andere
hope,
Geräte
next
dieses
month,
Jahr noch
but,
geben.
But we'll see.
Und ja, das wird jetzt in den kommenden Wochen und
It could
Monaten
happen
eben
anytime.
stattfinden. Ich glaube eher Monaten.
And
Wow.
Und ja,
but
Wahnsinn.
you know, it's one of those things where you test it and you kind of evaluate. Well, you know, where is it at now, and is it worthy to just go crazy with it and show everybody all the through the lens and all that. And but on the 12K, it is ready for that kind of thing and down that path next with that.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm
and,
ready. I'm ready to jump into the plane and take my camera to make these videos through the lens. You know, I'm looking
You're
forward
welcome
to
to
do
do it, and we'd love to have you. And like I say, I'd like to make it a gathering, you know, and have
Yeah,
it where
right.
a bunch of people next month
Perfect.
or something, you know, or whenever.
Okay.
But
Yeah, nice. I'm ready.
but we'll let you know, and when the time is right for that. But we've got
Okay.
time. You know, this is a Q4 release for this headset, and all I can say is the place we're at is a good place on the development, and you know, and it's coming right along, and there's no technical issues that are.
Ja, wir werden gleich im Discord noch darüber sprechen, was wir von dieser Ankündigung oder vor allem ich auf dem Deutschen, Sebastian auf dem Englischen, was wir von der Ankündigung gehalten haben jetzt und von den neuen Informationen auch und wie wir jetzt einschätzen, wie wahrscheinlich es ist, dass das Gerät wirklich dieses Jahr kommt. Kann ich euch nur zu einladen. Ihr könnt dort eben in den Stage-Channel gleich kommen.
I really think that this event was really
Und
important. Because people were
uns fragen oder mir Fragen
what is
stellen.
going on? What is going on with the PIMAX 12K QLED, right? They hoped for the CES show. It didn't happen because of several reasons. And they were wondering, is that still a thing? But I do think that this show has given them, lots of confidence, honestly speaking. And I really appreciate like your way of like answering to all my questions, even though they were hard, like MRTV style.
Yeah.
So yeah, appreciate that a lot.
I would just say that, you know, not everybody is wants us to do these kinds of these kinds of events as far as the company goes. But I'm a big fan of trying to get as much information out there as I can, and I hope we can continue to do that. So
great.
that's where it's at.
Ja, sagt
Again,
nochmal,
thank you so much. For all
nicht
the
jeder war
people who are
Fan
watching
davon, dass er das hier
this
so gemacht
still
hat.
right now, I would like to let you know this is still not over. So, for all the people who are watching right now, you still probably have questions. You still want to talk more about the PIMAX 12K QLED. And you can do that on a new thing that I've installed on the MRTV Discord server. It's the MRTV staging channel. And there the show will go on in probably half an hour, 30 minutes. I'll be there and I am going to tell you about my thoughts. I'm going to answer your questions. And I know probably somebody from PIMAX will also be there. Who knows?
Maybe.
So go to the MRTV Discord server.
I am a member.
Now, sorry, Kevin. The connection was gone. Go to the MRTV Discord server and find us in the MRTV staging channel in half an hour. I'll be there. I will take your questions. I will give you my impressions about what we heard here right now. And probably Kevin could be there too to answer questions if you still have time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. So go there, go to the MRTV Discord server. The link is down in the comment section, in the description.
Der Link zum Discord-Server
and then MRTV
ist
staging
unten in der
channel in half an
Videobeschreibung.
hour. I'll be there. Perhaps Kevin will be there if he still has time to answer your questions,
Maybe.
but I will be there for sure.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And let's
Thank
do it
you.
again.
Exactly.
so much.
So, and guys, don't forget the thumbs up. That's everything that we got. Now, Kevin's gone already. Yeah, thank you
Okay.
so much for
Sehr gut.
watching this. I think there was an amazing show. That's really the MRTV stuff that I love to do.
Ja, dann würde ich sagen, beende ich auch diesen deutschen Stream jetzt. Ja, über 3 Stunden ging er jetzt. Wahnsinn. Wir haben wirklich einige neue Informationen erhalten, vor allem auch Enthusiasteninformationen. Wirklich Dinge, Feinheiten, die wir gerne wissen möchten. Welche Auflösung, wie wird das funktionieren? Display, Stream Compression und all diese Themen, die wirklich die Enthusiasten vor allem interessieren, die haben wir hier klären können. Und es ist toll, muss ich tatsächlich sagen, dass Kevin Henderson diesen Schritt eben gemacht hat, weil das hat schon ihn oder das Unternehmen PIMAX auch sympathischer gemacht. Das ist meine Wahrnehmung, denn das macht nicht jeder. Er musste sich, gerade am Anfang, muss ich sagen, wirklich scharfe Kritik und auch Fragen gefallen lassen von Sebastian. Das hat er auch wirklich gut gemacht. Und ich muss sagen, er hat da auch gut durchgehalten. Natürlich kann er auf Fragen wie, wird die Brille gut sein? Nur sagen, ja, na klar, ja, ist schon klar. Aber wir haben eben jetzt die Information, sie soll immer noch dieses Jahr rauskommen, was natürlich immer noch nichts heißt. Aber das können wir gerne gleich noch im Discord-Server klären. Und ja, es hat wirklich Spaß gemacht. Kommt gerne auf den Discord-Server. Schreibt auch gerne was in die Kommentare, wenn ihr das hier später seht. Und ich werde auch noch einen kleinen Recap zusammenschneiden, den werde ich veröffentlichen, eben, dass ihr dieses Event nochmal in weniger als 3 Stunden sehen könnt. Schön, dass ihr alle dabei wart, hat Spaß gemacht. Wir bedanken uns und wir sehen uns jetzt gleich im Discord-Server ungefähr in 30 Minuten. Also, bis dann. Danke. Ciao.